Hello, this is Mr. C of Iroko Critic, and I am presenting. I should stop saying host because this isn't a show. I mean, the actual thing is the actual film club is the show, and Mrs. C and I are the hosts for that. I am the host for this is just basically a lie. I am presenting to you a show that Mr. and Mrs. C hosts. Okay, all right. Now that's out of the way. Today, on this episode, not today because you know how life and digital thing works. On this episode, we are going to be talking about Fine Wine, a movie I do not till today, despite what I might have said on this space, understand the love for it because I just don't understand the love for this film. It's so thick and heavy. It's not like, it's not like I can't understand why someone likes it. But a lot of people love this film, a lot, passionately. And a lot of people from our regular film club members love this film. So I'm not sure what's going on. I think I tried to perform an autopsy on the brain of the person that can like such a film. But this was a very much welcome change of change of gear from what was Collision Course. That was quite heavy. This is much lighter. Almost as much disagreement though in terms of why people like this film. But check the comment sections for the good, the bad, and the summary. But having said all of that, I hope you do enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing Fine Wine.
So everybody, welcome to Nollywood Film Club. We talk about movies every Sunday, Nollywood movies every Sunday at 6 o'clock. We're going to discuss the good, the bad, and then we'll tell you a summary. You're very much welcome to join the discussion. Just request to be a speaker if you want to say, if you've seen it and you want to say anything about it. If you want to challenge anything any of the speakers say, very well, feel free to. But yes, today we'll be talking about Fine Wine. Fine Wine is very beloved. One of the, I think in what do you call it, in Netflix history, I think is the second. It might be second most watched. I can't remember. It's certainly second most watched in Hollywood film. It might be even better than that, but it did very well. I think it was number one for like over a month.
And then it was number 2 to Omogeto for a while.
Yes, exactly. So like, which obviously Omogeto, when I was in Nigeria was it July? Late July, Omogeto was still in the top 10, despite coming out last year. So yes, being number 2 to Omogeto is nothing to scoff at. Anyway, but yeah, let's just discuss Fine Wine. Let's talk about what people liked, and let's start with the good. Let's start with the reason for the season. Elizabeth, tell us what you liked so much about Fine Wine. You punished myself. Let's do this. Eliza.
So I don't know if
Is Elizabeth there? Okay. All right.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So why did I pick Fire Wine? Honestly, the truth is I picked Fire Wine because last week we had collision course and it was a lot. It was heated, and I thought that we deserve a break. Something light that is still review worthy or critic worthy. Anyways, so why Fine Wine? So last year when this movie came on Netflix, I literally stumbled on it because Fine Wine did not stay on the top 10 list. I'm not joking, it did not stay on number 10, number 9, it did not climb. We just released Fine Wine, the thing was number 1. So I opened Netflix because I've been on Netflix, like I was watching like maybe K-drama or something, and then I saw this Nigerian film. And that time they had not yet done TV separate, movie separate. This thing just went straight. I just saw something on number one. Like, how did this movie get to number one? So I decided to watch. Now I see the appeal in this movie. This, of course, is a lot of fluff and maybe a lot of bad writing. But the appeal in Fine Wine is the story. This story has a very, it follows a very old, follows a old Nollywood romance trope. Like, it follows it to the T. You can, I mean, it starts with, shall I say, enemies. It's not enemies to lover, but like she didn't like the guy initially. So that's also a favorite trope, like among people that watch romance. Yeah. What else? Um, I was a bit uncomfortable with the age thing, but while I was watching it, I mean, I think I see what they were going for, which even they did badly about the age thing. They wanted to bring it to 4, but it had everything, that old girl route to boy thing. In this case, man, they had a meet cutes. They gave us montage for not montage, but they gave us shopping, which was very much old Nollywood. They had that date while eating thing. They had the beach thing, which was a boat ride. It had the butterflies in the belly that new Nollywood romance have not managed to do properly. I mean, we've been doing romance, but we've not been able to capture that old love of my life thing that we were seeing with Enuwa and Genevieve. Yeah, so they had all of this. So they had the structure. So I think the structure is what people like, plus the sugar daddy. But really, the strength of Fine Wine is in the ability to dash people butterflies in their belly. And that was the trick to stay number one for a very, very, very long time and being second most watched after Omogeto. I just found it tricky because when I was watching it, I went on Twitter and then I searched Fine Wine. And then I stumbled on Caribbean Twitter, Jamaican Twitter, and these people were talking about Fine Wine. And I'm like, yo, Nollywood, you won. Anyways, that's all for me. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks, Elizabeth. There's a lot of context there. I don't know how many of the likes that you actually said with this film, but
look, you're going to allow for context for this film.
It's like saying we're going to allow for fluff. Okay, all right.
Yes, we chose this for fluff.
All right. Fida, please tell us some of the things you liked about Fine Wine if you go around to watching it.
Hi everyone, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday,
Fida.
Yeah, just a quick one about collision course. So my Wi-Fi stopped working halfway, and I must tell you, as I was coming back in and out, I was like, maybe this is a sign, because it was heated for that whole time I was coming in and out. I was like, wow, like this is not even letting me stay for so long. Let me just leave. So I must say that I was happy that Fine Wine came up afterwards because I could feel the vibe. So let me start. I wrote my list. Thank you. So I started with RMD. Yes, sir. So handsome.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first one. I like watching him. Obviously, he's very good at what he does. I liked Ame as a character because Inse is going to bring that bitchy, who do you think you are? I'm your number one woman in your life kind of energy. So she brought that. Thank you. So she brought that. I like the friendship between Akin and Seyi because it was really like just cool, two older guys talking, laughing about different things, women. It was nice to see. I liked her friendship with Belinda, this Kaima lady. and how she noticed the relationship that she had with Tunji, which brought me to this paragraph that I wrote about him. I said that the pacing to describe her relationship with Tunji, from the first scene where he forgot to pick her up, to the forgotten date, to the fight in the parking lot where she tells him about telling Seyi off, Tunji saying he didn't promise anything after promising he won't get upset, then him saying she's just a copper and doesn't know what it's like to have a real job, then cancelling the date and taking her home. So for me, I like that. Not that I like it, but like it confirmed certain things about the relationship, the belittlement, the disregard for her well-being, lack of care in the relationship, and the power play between him being a senior officer and her being a copper at the time. So I also liked the way that they revealed information organically through conversation, because we got to know about each character through them talking to each other. So I felt like that was sort of like good storytelling, in my opinion. Then the scene that made me admire Seyi's character more was when Kaima was rude and he was still gracious afterwards. It sat well with me. So the eye contact, the gentle voice when speaking to her, even though she was embarrassed and covering her face, I like that. And I've watched this movie before, so seeing that scene again affirmed it that, yeah, I really like the scene. So I like the way he shrugged off the telling off. Like you could see him process his confusion and shrug off the incident before moving on. I felt like that was organic because I don't know, sometimes I think, but he's a veteran, but like with acting, maybe because I'm like that, it's like I have to like tell myself this is a good emotion to feel right now. And in real life as well, I have to be like, oh yeah, this is a good time to be sad. So I found that good. Another power play that showed itself was the relationship between Ame and Seyi's character, the incessant calls, the passive aggressive jabs, the request for money, the monitoring of his activities, because she holds the power of him being the mother of his children. So I like that Akin kept bringing that up, the need for Seyi's character to express boundaries. And even though that was a reason that made Seyi allow everything, with the development of the relationship with Kaima, he sees the need to express those boundaries, and that's why I like to see about in the film. And the same thing with Kaima and the Tunji guy, because Tunji was getting on my nerves, and I was happy that things turned around in a certain way that really humbled him. So yeah, that's mine. Thank you.
Wow, thanks, Fida.
Thanks, Fida.
This is actually, we need more positive energy like here in Film Club, because
Also, some people hear notes.
notes,
Notes.
as in very prepared, and notice that she's not a hater like a lot of people on here. All right. Okay. Thanks so much, Fida. All right. Vanessa.
Finally, as one of the agendists for this
Literally
film,
the third person. What do you mean by
I also made notes. Unlike
Hey.
Elizabeth, after campaigning for this film, she came to tell us it's like, oh,
I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't worry.
All right,
Okay.
I have a cold, so I might sound croaky, but
I think I noticed something. Go ahead.
okay. So, my likes for this film: character introductions. I felt like Fida was speaking my mind because I was like, is she in my notes? But very early on in the film, it's established that Mr. George is like a family man, doting father with basically zero sugar daddy tendencies. The car scene, even though it was cringe at times, was super adorable and like totally sold me on this like character who's like responsible, very it just was well done. Another really well done character intro is that of Tunji. Like when we first meet Tunji, he's immediately our bad guy. Not in like the super villainous way, but like in the way of romance novels. Unattentive douchebag of a boyfriend who talks down to our main character. It just sells that he's our bad guy. And also, intentional or unintentional, I don't know, the shoddy, relaxed hair / texturized hair that Adedoyin Damola is like, Ademola is sporting in this film, further sells this character as an a-hole. Because what kind of man in the year of Her Majesty Beyonce 2022 is still carrying relaxer on their hair? And that little, no, it's not funny. That little patch
No
of hair.
offense to anyone here with relaxed.
I'm sorry. The little patch of hair under his lip that's not like connected but still is somehow connected to his beard. Chef's kiss. premium douchebaggery. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My second good is RMD's beauty, because I don't know who thought that giving RMD the Papa Jasco bald cut would age him or make him less beautiful. They tried though, but honestly, I don't blame them, because even with the balding look, his beauty is still effervescent. If that man, if they left RMD in his original state, his beauty will be too powerful. Let's not even deceive ourselves. But next, like our not so meet cute. It was textbook Mills and Boons Harlequin stuff. Like innocent, good, responsible girl meets rich millionaire, but gives him a little attitude because she makes a wrong assumption, and like the billionaire guy is taken by her. Hook it to my veins. Hook it. Just chook it. I was like, yes, give me a not so meet cute. And then the apology lunch, adorable. I don't care. Argue with your daddy was cute. I don't know how she didn't fold 5 seconds into that lunch. How she even made it to her seat. RMD is smiling at you and you're sitting still. How? It's not possible. It's not possible. How is RMD? No. Look at it. RMD is smiling at you. He's saying soft words. And you're sitting down. It's not possible. I would have fallen off that chair. My next like, Zainab Balogun. Put Zainab Balogun in all the things. I feel like we've said it multiple times and Nollywood is not listening. Put Zainab Balogun in all the things. She sold it. She was adorbs in this film. She gave us, my daddy has money, but I have a career that like isn't really serious, but it's a career I chose because it's basically my life. I attend parties and plan parties for a living. But she also gives, daddy spoils us silly, but like he raised us to be responsible and like super well brought up adults who aren't rude and nasty. It was perfect. And she and RMD had the best chemistry. It was like, maybe it's a thing of the acting was so good between her and RMD, because this was RMD in like his 40. RMD is the premium lover boy. So this was like perfect for RMD. And then he and Zainab were just bouncing off of each other. It was amazing. My final like, for the first time in a long time, Grace Charis Bassi, formerly known as Belinda Effa, wasn't annoying. I don't know how they did it. But they did it. They did it. I was almost happy to see her in scenes with Egonwosu. I was shocked. I was like, this woman is on my screen and I'm not angry. It's not possible. But it was. I actually genuinely didn't mind seeing Grace Charis Bassi on my screen. It was actually really good to see her. Was that my final like? No, my final like is RMD's beauty is powerful and can charge our phones, our lives, everything. You people should just let RMD be a lover boy. I'm sorry, typecast, type. I don't care. Just make him RMD lover boy. Just put me in front of RMD smiling at me. That's all I want. And they gave me this. It was totally adorable. I'm sorry. I like fluff. Mr. C saying this is fluff. Fluff is great. This world is hard. It's the same reason why even when I read books, I don't read fiction that is hard things. All these hard stories that be making people cry, I don't like it. When I'm watching entertainment, reading anything, I want things to make me happy. I like reading about people falling in love. It's cute, it's sweet. Give me sweet things. Genuinely, life is hard. It's not everyday collision course will be fighting about police brutality and people's treatment of police brutality. Let us just see two people falling in love. I don't know how hard it is. Let people be smiling at each other and giving each other conny eye. It's cute. Honestly, that's all I want. This life is hard enough as it is. Let's just all enjoy fluff. Fluff is cute. Fluff is sweet. Yeah? Watch Fine Wine, everybody. I feel like I did the agendaist proud.
And with this point of mine,
I hope I have confused you. I'm not convinced you that Fine Wine is a good film. I haven't. This is the best
Oh
film club
my.
ever. I'm like, we should do more films like this.
Oh my God. All right.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right. Well, I think Vanessa likes RMD. I think that's what I got from that. Safe to say. All right. Oh wow, my jaws. All right. Thanks a lot, Vanessa. Thanks a lot, Vanessa. We'll get around to some of the things you said. All right. Okay. So, Cynthia, do you want to say some of the things you like about fine wine?
Oh yes, and I also want to give shout out to Vanessa for engendering very well, and not Elizabeth that forced us to see this movie, and she just came to say something small. In fact, she even gaslighted me because I didn't write much likes, and I was like, no, let me go back to my book and write more things. And I'm going to say more things than her. I have to fight. I have to fight. Okay, so yeah, just most of the things I'm going to say, some people have said it, but my first like here was the idea of the story. So I actually like the age doesn't matter in love. Okay. Yes, it was 55 years old and she was 25 years old. But I think that the idea was to give us hope that no matter how old you can still find love, or even though you are these old youngies like people like me, you can get married to a 40-year-old man. Okay, as far as it's treating you as far as it's treating you right. So I like the idea of the story, okay, the hope story. Then I also like the approach. So I liked how RMD was divorced. Okay, so it helped reduce the toxicity you would have seen from if he was a married man falling in love with a young girl, and they didn't even try to teach a lesson. Thank God he was divorced. Maybe we would have seen a lesson like, if you do not do well to your husband can take a young man to be his wife. So I like the idea, the hope, and I also like the approach they used. Then I said what about casting and appearance, and the first thing is RMD was perfect. Okay, like there was you can't. There's no argument. RMD was perfect for this role. I felt like maybe he has been waiting for this sugar daddy role, and when he got it, it was like I'm going to be in character. RMD was perfect, like over perfect. Over perfect. Okay, so Ego Uwan, so she was also a soft babe. So selling her with RMD was believable and it was good. So we have Tunji. So as Vanessa said, when I saw Tunji's hair, I already knew that this guy is going to be an asshole. Like they had his casting and his appearance to sell his role. Okay, the hair was Then we have Kepi Basti Akin. My God, like the way he was talking with RMD, the way it looked like old man vibes, like I loved it. We have Tina Mba. I have to say that a wig when she appeared on screen and she appeared on those short wig, I was just like I already know the kind of mother she's going to be. So they did a whole lot of work in casting and making the appearance believable, and it sold to me. And talking about appearance, who noticed how beautiful Mr. Josh DP was in the phone? I mean, I was like, oh my god. Okay, now let's go back. So we have so personally I wrote Badge and his dimples. And this is because I don't see Badge a lot in movies. So seeing Badge and he appeared and he smiled with his dimples is my like. Oh, it's part of my like. I'm even angry that I didn't give him enough screen time, even though he's just smiling and the dimple is showing and it's dimpling and my heart is moving and I'm happy to see dimple. It's part of my life in this movie. Then, for serious matter, let's talk about the acting. So, Antina Umba, I loved her acting. I felt she was in character. The wig helped, the appearance helped, and she really behaved so well. Like, this is the kind of mother they wanted her to be, and she gave it to me. Okay, so RMD. Mm. I need to breathe in and breathe out because this is a special character in this movie. Sorry, this yeah. I mean, Mr. Shea is a special character in this movie. So, and it gave all the sugar vibes you needed. Like, is it the way he was talking? Or is it the way he was smiling? It's even the simple act of jealousy when the young Shegun guy was trying to take picture with his daughter and Egowansu's character and he stood up to go and stand by her. I'm like, is he shutting down his wife? I mean, everything you could think of, like RMD gave the sugar daddy vibe. Like, I loved it. In fact, I felt if they had casted another person for this role, we wouldn't have liked this movie the way we like it because it is the one that sold the movie to me. It sold the movie to me. Then we have Kepi Basti Akin. So Akin and Mr. Sheye character, they really gave me the old man vibe. It's not like I like a lot of things they were talking about, but when when they were speaking during their interaction, you could see that these were old man. Like I was calling them old daddies. What old daddies? Like anytime they meet, that was my favorite part of this movie. Their gist, it was very realistic. Okay, then finally, I think they tried to do something with Tunji's character. Although it failed woefully overall, but you could see when Mr. Josh came into the picture they kind of want to give him this showing a bit of care for the lady because a competition is in um they didn't develop it well, but I have to give them kudos for trying to do something with his character. And yeah, that's all. And just to conclude with how Vanessa concluded, RMD, what is perfect for this movie is the reason I kept watching this movie. Even though I wanted to go off, I was like, RMD might soon appear in my screen, and it sold this movie to me. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my god. Rename this space the RMD fan club.
Okay, all right. Yeah, God. Oh God, how long left? How long left for film club? Jesus. All right. Okay. Anyway, you can review Fine Wine or RMD on Nolly Data right now.
Literally just go there and say RMD. That's the movie.
Using the link, it's posted on the space. You can also follow the conversation if you don't want to come up and speak. You can just use the hashtag Nollywood Film Club, and I'll pin your tweet. This is from Vanessa saying we should agenda more. Yes. To be honest, I'm enjoying. Look, say whatever you want. I actually, more than anything, I like people loving things. It's kind of contagious, even though it has not got me yet. This is a tweet from me. I said this is why you should absolutely come and sing for films you love on Nollywood Film Club because the washing game. Oh God, that's a. Oh,
You still can't spell?
that's no. It's supposed to be the washing going on right now, but I wrote the washing go on right now. It is what it is. Anyway, I am literate, I promise. All right. But yes, use the hashtag Nollywood Film Club. All right. Mel, and then we'll go TFR, and then we'll go Anika.
Okay. I'm really glad that I went after Cynthia and Vanessa because I think that they've done justice to RMD's matter. But yeah, one of my likes is definitely RMD. I thought that he brought it. And whatever he was selling, I bought. I bought for myself. I bought for my family. I bought it all. I really enjoyed Kepi as well. I thought that they had their friendship chemistry was believable. Just the banter, the jokes. I thought that it worked. And I know the story is not about Kepi, but Kepi too can get it. All of them can get it. Okay. I really enjoyed Zainab. I really enjoy seeing Zainab on my screen. I really truly do enjoy seeing Zainab on my screen. Um, That was cool. Badge was cool as well. I share Cynthia's sentiments. So that 2 seconds of him on the phone give us more. I think just in general, what I really, really liked about it was so many beautiful people, so many beautiful people. So every scene was a delight in that way. It was something you were feeding your eyes on. I see how maybe aspirational is not the word, but I get it. I get it. Everybody, maybe not everybody, but a sugar daddy is nice. A sugar mommy is nice. A sugar non-binary person is nice. Get. I just want to relax and be taken care of. Get. So yeah. So like I'm watching the movie and you're thinking, you're like, when last did I go to the bank? And you're planning a trip to the bank. So I guess it was. I don't know what the word for it is. Maybe not heartwarming, maybe not aspirational, but something in between those two words. I think that's what it felt for me. So I think that's all my goods. Yeah, RMD.
Okay, thanks, Mo. Well, this cap is still flying. It's still soaring higher and higher. All right.
Everybody's telling you what they're telling
We're
you.
discussing. All right. Next on the, I think I said TFR, right? TFR. Please go and tell us your likes for fine wine. Is it?
Okay. Yes, it's me. Okay, so generally, I call them lost in translation type films. So romance between some older character and like a younger character. You so like lost in translation, love regardless, and stuff like that. I like films like that. Um, Fine Wine. I liked RMD. I think he's a very good actor. He really performed well in this. I liked Kepi. I'm a very very big Kepi fan. I think like I don't know if underrated is the right word, but I think he should be respected more in the industry. I think Kepi was really good. I love where I like when male friendship is really depicted well in Nollywood, and I think that was really nice, especially from an older generation kind of male friendship sort of thing. I think the banter worked really well. You could tell that they were genuinely good friends. I liked the dialogue, especially between Zainab and RMD. Oh, the whole pepper soup. Oh, you're going around planning parties and everything. I think that was really good. I liked the father-daughter relationship was very very well done. I really liked that. What else? What else? I haven't seen Ego once in anything else, so I think I know. I think she did well. I think yeah. I think she did well. What else? I'm trying to. I think I had something else pinned down. Yeah, Tina and Ba was quite good as well. Tina and Ba did well. Most of the performances were okay. Yeah, were great. Some the other ones were okay. So I liked it. Yeah, in general, it was good.
All right. Thanks, CFR. Again, just a reminder, you can review this on Data. I sound so sad. I just caught myself sounding so sad. No. It's I am Ava today. I guess it happens once in a while. All right. No. Aside that, you can also join the conversation using Nollywood Film Club. We'll put your tweet on if you want to say any comments. Inka, please go ahead. What did you like about?
Yes, so as everybody said, sorry, I came in a little bit late, so it seems that I'm so sorry, I'm not on your side, Mr. If from what I got, you don't like this movie, I like this movie, and oh, oh, everybody has already said that the performances were good. So I'm not going to talk about that because the performances were good, and there was nothing to take out of it. There was nothing to take me out of it. Um, so yes, RMD was doing all sorts of amazing things in this movie. Like his smile and everything. I can get it. Like it's really amazing to see it. It's RMD, this is the kind of role I think it really does shine the best in, especially because we've seen him play this role before, right? He plays this sort of rich man that is very, very charming, very enduring. Maybe there's something about it that may be a little bit off, but it's just charming. And I think I was just in love with RMD. I was just like in love with him. Now, the movie, there were some issues with the production, but I think like the movie actually did very well. The characters are characters. They have dimensions. I, d- I don't necessarily think they're all three-dimensional, but they do have dimension. They do have dimensions, and like I like what the movie is. It's a classic romance movie, and it hits all the beats, and it does it well. It does it well that I enjoyed myself watching it. And that's what I think is the best about this movie. It doesn't go all fancy and be like, oh, um, I want to do more and like do more than what I can do. You know, I I don't know the best way to describe it. There are movies that you watch it and they feel like they're trying to tell you this is the best. Isn't this amazing? But this movie says, "Oh, we're just going to do a classic romance movie and every single thing I'm going to decide about it is going to be about to it's going to serve just what I want to do." And this is why I would say that this movie is also a, like the competency in this movie I love because they just kept to the basis. They did the basis. They did their basis as well as they could. There was nothing too glaring, and I'm just so appreciative of that. I mean, even like okay, one issue I always have with like Nigerian filmmaking is costuming. Now, costuming is not only that you dress people incredibly fancy. No, costuming. It's a costume. The movies in the something is a costume. And the girl is dressed believable as like a believable, like middle class girl who is not necessarily super rich, walking in a something like she's dressed like that. Her makeup is not always like 100% always on, you know? That's the things that I'm like, oh, the costuming is pretty good for this movie. This movie actually, the costuming actually fits the characters that they say we have. And the story is pretty it's I just this movie, every single thing I was just like, wow, the people that made this movie are competent. I mean, from the very beginning of the film, like fine wine, there is wine pouring in it. That is a symbolism that goes, it's not supposed to be like amazing symbolism, like oh some genius symbolism, but it's a symbolism that works and fits and is earned the movie, right? Within the movie, it's actually even tied into the movie. The guy is going to make a fine wine something. And even when they say fine wine, when they say the title of the movie, it is written within the movie that doesn't like jar you out because it makes sense within the conversations that they're saying. Like all these tiny little things that make people that it just makes this movie works well. Now, I was just like, oh, this is yes. Could I tell the plot beats of this movie? Yes. Yes, I can tell the plot beats of this movie, but that's what romance, like a classic romance. You have to have like good performances, people that are charismatic, you know, and I was just watching this movie. I'm like, I've watched RMD in romance roles all my life. I can definitely buy like being with this guy. And it's a non-problematic like age gap movie. By non-problematic, it's still problematic. Like that's a 30 years of difference, and he's very rich. In real life, sugar daddies ain't like this, but like okay. But like within it's a fantasy and I love it. And I was in it, but like they made it non-problematic, like they said. Divorce is divorce. He also treats her well. He also, like, the connection of them is not based on the money he gives. So we're like, oh no, this is like a real sort of like something. Although that does still happen. The bring out the card. I keep calling the card the rich daddy or the rich boyfriend that gives you the card, and you get the makeup, and you get the makeup montage scene. We get it, but the way that we even get that sort of makeup montage scene thing is in a very kind of respectful way. And I feel like this movie is written so much more with a female sort of gaze. The thing that female we know, it's the things that is just like, if you're a woman and you've been watching media all your life, you know how they gauge things towards you. And this thing is written so well, even at the end that she ends up breaking up with a asshole boyfriend, she says, even if I don't have to end up with the guy, because she doesn't even think she's going to end up with um with our fine wine, she chooses herself, which I feel like this is like a more 21st century sort of updated something on that romance thing, and on that romance movie, and it's like it's wonderful. I feel like this movie is just wonderful, just just lovely. And RMD was amazing. I've never seen the main actress before, the female lead. I've never seen her in something before, but she did really well. Yes, it even made me like go like, oh yeah, I'm accepting the fact that there's almost a 30-year difference between you guys. It's wonderful. I loved it. Even my cousin that doesn't like necessarily like watching romance got into the movie. He didn't like the ending, but he got into the movie. He was into it, and even he understood that the boyfriend was an asshole. So like this movie can get people into it, and I think that's what part of like just good filmmaking is. May I dare say it's one of the best movies that I've seen within the past 2 or 3 months. And I didn't want to give this movie a try because I was just like, an age something movie. Yes, we've seen this one before. It's more acceptable for the man to be like 30 years, 20 years, over 10 years older than the woman. I would like for a movie where the woman is that old and then the guy is that young, and there is not a problematic something, and we're not judging the woman, and we're not saying hell is going to go over. So I would like that. That's the next thing. Whoever wrote this movie, can you write it for women? Also, make sure not to have like all this like bad things for the woman, because whenever we see that type of movie, they never end up together. It's never right, and it's always like it's very, very. It kind of has some misogynic strain, but I like this movie. This movie is on my yes. I love it. I'm very glad that I watched this.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anika. All right. I think we're getting close to my people then. All right. Kamzi, as the only man speaking about their likes so far, go ahead. Tell us the things you liked about fine wine.
Let me first do. Coming after you go. Again. Okay. I think it's been long I saw Fine Wine, and I can't really remember much about the movie. But I think one of the things I liked then was they didn't make a fuss about the age gap. Not like the other characters, the supporting characters were the one shouting, this man is older than you, like the normal Nollywood thing. I really like that. And the lead characters, they were not passive, kind of. They were not passive at all. I could feel Ego Nwosu. I could feel that she was confused, and she did it. She did what she had to do. Like, she performed well for the first time. That's the only movie I've seen her since then. I've never seen her in any other movie. So I think I like her. And RMD, it did well. Zainab, she did well. I think casting saved this movie. For me, casting saved the movie, but I don't want to say anything now until we get to bad. So the performances were okay. And the story tries not to be cliche. It tries not to be, it tries not to be the normal Nollywood story about sugar daddy and a young woman. Even though I didn't feel like they were sugar daddy, it was kind of like a sugar daddy relationship. I didn't even look at it like that. But I was glad they make a movie where it doesn't look like the whole thing, the things we were used to in Hollywood. So uh, that's all I have to say about the good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, thanks, Kamzi. Atas, do you want to say the things you liked about Fine Wine?
Yes, I guess if I must. RMD is very handsome. He was a lot of fun to watch on the screen. I thought he embodied the character somewhat effortlessly. I could buy that he was older and rich. I thought he had good chemistry with Norbert Young. I think that's his name, Norbert. Robert? Is it? It's Norbert Young.
Ekbayong Basi.
Right. Okay. Young Basti, not Norbert then. So I thought they had great friendship chemistry. They seemed to enjoy hanging out with each other. Yeah, I mean, it told the story it wanted to tell. So, good job.
Thanks. Atas. Thank you. I just said thank you. I just said thank you. All I said was thank you. I've been thanking everybody. Anyway, I'm just gonna read the comments that have been coming through without typos. So, film club can be nice and easy like this. Fine wine. We thank you. This is from Vanessa. Damola Yanji says, I love the bromance between Akin and Cher. I love seeing Zainab. I love the way it made me feel. Finally, I love RMD. Yeah, RMD keeps on doing things for people. All right. This is the best Nollywood film club ever from Elizabeth. RMD is the Nigerian film of the gays, which you guys should all be ashamed of. All right. Okay. Mr. C, do you want to tell us all the things you liked about
Okay. I'm gonna do context like Elizabeth did context, yeah? When we were kids, we used to watch the Disney cartoons, right? Or read the fairy tales where the prince would come and marry you and you become a princess. We got older, we read Mills and Boone. Seducing the billionaire, romancing the billionaire, falling in love with the billionaire. This is it. This film is Mills and Boone. This film is Nollywood Mills and Boone, right? It's not the old Nollywood where the girl's poor, the man is rich, and he picks her up from the dead. She's a regular babe. She's a copper, right? She's a copper. She's in the bank, right? How many of us can relate to being in Edo that can't speak English in the village and saying hello plain? But we can relate to being a copper. And isn't it nice if a good-looking man, right?
I like hello plain film.
Isn't it nice? The idea that this good-looking man is gonna come in and sweep you off your feet, right? With lots of money. And like, if you're lucky, you could be a wealthy widow in your 50s. It's good vibes. I'm sorry. That is the appeal, is that it's good vibes, right?
Apologies accepted.
It's good vibes. I'm going to say, right, another plus, Nigerian women are beautiful. Nigerian women's beauty, A++. Like, Zainab was giving, Ego Onsu was giving. I didn't mind the actor formerly known as Belinda Efa. She was giving, like, there was so much beauty going on in there. Like, I know everyone has hounded on RMD's beauty, but there was so much beauty going on with the women, so that was great. And yeah, and also Zainab, I'm going to give her another shout out. You know that thing that Nancy thought she was doing in Raz Guy? That's what Zainab was doing. Zainab was actually playing that character that I imagined the writers of Raz Guy wrote. That was the delivery. The sweet, fun, rich girl who is chill, right? She's spoiled, she's wealthy, but she's chill, she's cool. She's an all right girl. So I liked that. RMD is a beautiful man, but he doesn't do it for me the way he does it for you guys. And it's just
shocks, gasps, so much gaps. We have a heretic.
No,
A heretic.
no, he's a beautiful man. But one time I was watching him and he smiled and he looked like my dad, and that was it. It was done. It was gone. It was over. Like just too close to home. And then like all the cringe like dad things he was doing in Fine Wine, it was just my dad, and it ew. So yes, no, but it's like you people will like my father.
Wow. There you go, Mr. C offering.
I am not offering. My mother can fight.
Okay, all right. Okay. If you want to join the conversation, hashtag Nollywood Film Club. If you want to rate it, Nolly Data, or our pinned is the pinned tweet on the space, the first one. All right. The things that I liked. So there's not a lot going for this production-wise, but it has this very bright tone about it that matches what it should be going for. So it's very almost overly lit, like, but very broadly lit, but like it's close to what I remember, like the kind of rom-com, and I know this is not rom-com, this is just romance, but the rom-com I used to enjoy from the early aughts or late 90s, mainly the early aughts, where everything's just really overly well lit and it just, everybody looks like in a studio, that kind of thing, that kind of vibe. It's exposed, almost slightly overly exposed. That look is nice for what it's going for. And what else did I like? Ego was nice to look at. Very nice to look at. And I'm not big on, it's difficult to be big on acting given the words that are coming out of these people's mouth. So I'm sorry. Okay, I think that's it for me before I start saying things that are bad. But yeah, those are the things that I guess appreciated from this. The sort of tone visually looked good, and and to be fair, yes, I think the film, there's an aspect of it knows what it is. It's clearly appealed to so many women on a base level. That's yeah. Well, okay, all right.
My cousin was a guy. Okay.
Okay, your cousin is not here to speak for himself, so I cannot accept your version of his thoughts on this. But to be fair, we don't even have many guys on here, so but let's go into the things that we didn't like so much. And all right, I'm going to go with start with Otas. Let's start with you.
I don't know why I didn't like this movie. I wish I had like a long list of things that I could present. It's just so boring. Oh my god. I have been attempting to watch this movie now for like 4 days, and I just finally finished it like 5 minutes ago. But for context, I actually started this movie this morning at like 6 a.m. my time, which is like 5 hours ago. And then I kept sleeping. And so I was late to film club because I had been trying to finish the movie, and I fell asleep, and I woke up like 15 minutes ago and joined in. I don't. The story is just so slow. I guess maybe if that's what people enjoy in a romance, it's just very. It does nothing. It goes nowhere. I don't believe that those are two people who have amazing chemistry where they fall in love with each other. I don't know that the casting choice worked together. I thought that the characters played their roles well enough, so I don't even know that it's the acting. It doesn't feel like they were necessarily bad actors. is just so slow and just goes nowhere, and I don't know what it's about. Yeah, that it just I just couldn't. I don't know. It's just really boring.
All right, thanks, Atas. I can't say that I did not feel a lot of that. It is what it is, I guess, for the most part. All right, Fida, let's hear from you. What you didn't like as much, if anything.
I'm going to keep it short. I don't have anything that I didn't like about this. The only thing that I didn't like was that it wasn't me that was possibly acting with RMD. And I'm just hoping that one time we have the opportunity and there are some more kissing scenes. Like, I'm more of a kisser. I'm just saying, thank you so much.
All right, no
I
problem.
agree with you.
Thanks, Fida. Sit down and listen.
I don't agree with Fida, though. I wish there was more kissing in the film. It was
like-
kind of odd that there was.
Still, go on, still.
Yeah, there was one kiss and we could barely see it, and it's a romance, like kiss.
It's not even just that. It's that, you know, where it happens, I think it's appropriate. Like, it's fine to build up everything, you know, because like the whole point of it is that it's not really even sexual up to a point. He's just being a gentleman.
Yeah.
But the point it happened, you don't even see their lips touch because of the angle it's shot from. Yeah, I have a lot of things to say about this movie, but like everything production wise is, except for the thing I said in terms of how it sort of looks, it's kind of trash. It's trash. But everybody go ahead and speak your mind. We're going next with Lisbeth.
Okay, so whatever you hear about this movie, production wise, it does not matter. This movie is perfect. Of course, the sound is bad, the picture quality is bad, the editing is bad, everything. See, anything that can go wrong, production value wise went wrong. So forget that one. We are not talking about it. Acknowledged. What I will say though is what this movie could have done better. Because when I was watching this movie, I see the appeal. Like I said, it's old Nollywood romance. It got all the tropes right. In fact, this is how people should be writing romantic movies, Niger romantic movies henceforth. Just continuing this level. There's the appeal to it is the old Nollywood appeal. You know, you've got all the tropes going for it. But what it could have done better is the writing. And what saved it, let me use that, what saved it is the old Nollywood tropes that was introduced, but it could have done better with writing. And what do I mean by that? You've got this movie barely had a conflict. So we know that they're going for, she's torn between two people, the older man that is attentive to her, the younger one who doesn't care and is using her to get somewhere. And I think they were going for, she is the one that had the bias here. She's probably enjoying the older man's company. She likes him, but not enough to tell her friends about him. Not enough to get herself to really like him because, you know, she sees the appeal of the younger man who's going to be a bank manager. But it just doesn't treat her right. So it's almost as if she wanted him in her boyfriend's body. So I don't know now if it's the writing or the directing. I felt like the writer should have given us more between RMD's character, between Seyi and Kaima. Like their conversations, I mean, the old pepper soup thing, I love it. I mean, it's very old Nollywood trope. I love it. Give me more pepper soup healing man. But the point is that apart from the pepper soup, what else happened? When you listen to their conversations, you see that it's like this. I would have loved if the attraction is not just so on a basic level where you can see that there is attraction between two of them, the stairs here and there, more stairs, and the smile and the pining. I felt like it would have been for me a bit more relatable. I would have liked it if it had that conversation going like in Lost in Translation. They had like real dialogue where It's not just that he likes this 25 years old girl, or she just likes this old man. Because they seem to break it down to it's reductive when it's just old man is nicer to me, my other guy is an asshole. So this movie, and then it barely had conflict that I liked. I mean, this guy knew that he was going to lose he was going to lose Kaima to Mr. George. So what he did was you know, he did what every other foolish person would do. He proposed to her, and then she accepted. I now, I maybe I'm not articulating this properly. I just don't see. I don't know if it's in the writing or it's in the directing. Now, I am doing a lot of inferring for her character in the sense that she's just not bold enough to come out and say, you know what, I like Mr. George. It's not as if anybody has mentioned his age to her, but you can see that when she wants to talk to her friend about it, when she wants to talk about Mr. George, obviously, but she won't say it's her sister. She won't say it even to her friend. She is like she's keeping that part of him away from people. And I felt like that is where the conflict should have been. Like maybe she's the one who is ashamed to come out and say, I like an older man, right? So because that was never implied or anything, it just this movie barely had a conflict. That's just it. Barely. And then the next thing is that that funny resolution. And I love the whole standing up to the guy and somebody recording, but I thought that resolution was too. Please, there were too much. They had too much guests. There was a lot of people there. The friend, that was, and I found it a bit cringe, but it doesn't matter because, like I said, I really like this movie. I just didn't like that it had no solid conflict. It had no solid dialogue between Kaima and Sheye. You know, apart from that whole staring at each other, staring and holding, and then really, I feel like if we have added, if the writers had, and not apart from Lost in Translation, I'm looking for another movie that I've seen that had this age thing. Yes, there was Love Regardless. The conversations, the reason why they like talking to each other. There was another one with I think Wale Ojo and Lydia. I can't. Is that name Lydia, the Ghanaian girl?
A letter
I
to
can't
Adam.
remember. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a letter to Adam. And if you also watch those ones, the reason why, like, it's in the conversation that these two people have. I'm not saying that 25. I'm not saying that attraction is bad. There's nothing wrong with it, but because there was barely anything in dialogue to hold us to endear us apart from just attraction to these characters, it just really made this movie a lot of fluff. Because I think that if they focus the conflict on Kaiman not being ashamed of, you know, ashamed of what's it called, um the age, right? If they put that conflict on her, she's the one that does not want to introduce Mr. George to people. She's I mean, it was a selfish thing that she was doing. She was enjoying his company. She likes him, she likes the attention. She just does not want to introduce him to people. If that was our major conflict, I would have even liked it because that is a proper conflict. But this just did not give any conflict. But doesn't matter, guys. This is the best movie in the world. Okay, yeah, I'm done. No, I'm not done. I wanted I wanted to
Please.
okay, I'm done. I'm done. Bye bye.
Oh God! All right. Let me translation. The film didn't have tension. The ending was contrived. The production is a mess, but RMD was fine, so the movie was good. That's the translation I got. Anyway, we're going to move on to Kamzi. Kamzi, tell me what you do not like about the film.
Okay. Like I said earlier, I said casting saved this movie because at the point I felt like they were going around the circle and nothing happened. You know, there was no conflict. Even though I could feel the internal conflict for the lead character, but there was no external conflict for me, and I was like, "What's happening in this movie?" You know, everything I was expecting didn't happen, and at the point, I think the writing is bad. the writing is bad because I had to like forward. I was forwarding it the old how I would do with the old Nollywood. So I started forwarding it, and I was like, okay. But I think the casting did the job. I would have preferred the chemistry between Zainab and RMD. I don't know. I don't know how to put that. I would have. They had better chemistry than the lady and RMD. The two characters, they have better chemistry than the two leads. So I felt like not much happened. Not much happened between the lead characters, and there was no conflict. Like Elizabeth said, there was no conflict, uh, and at the point it felt too long to start. The movie didn't start early, and I, didn't- I don't want to. And the production is bad. The production is bad. Even though I don't care about production, but I really care about story. But the writing is bad for me. That's what I have to say.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
I'm a bit disappointed. I'm trying to counter agenda here. But that's fine. Let's give the activist a spot to say. We're talking about the things we don't like now, but you didn't get an opportunity to say things you like. So if you want to give us both the activists, please tell us. Feel free, either what you didn't like or what you like and you did not like. The activist, are you there? All right, let's move to Cynthia. Cynthia, please tell us some of the things you did not like.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, sorry, I was typing. Ah, it's going to still be like Cynthia is typing. Okay, yes, why I gushed over R&D's beauty. um, there's a whole lot of things to dislike about this movie, okay? So first of all, I felt like this movie is a straight line. Like you just draw a line and everything just connects. Like everything connects. Okay. So when I was writing my dislike, I was like, what illustration can I use to explain this better? And I thought of the Olympics. So picture 100-meter race in the Olympics. Okay. And you see how everything goes straight. That's how this movie is. But in real life, what we actually go through is 100-meter hurdles. Okay, so you jump one hurdle, you jump another hurdle, you jump another hurdle. Okay, and even though this movie is not a fantasy, when you watch fantasy movies, you still see them do 100-meter hurdles. So that's the general summary of the dislike of this movie. It's too straight, no obstacle, no hurdle, everything just connects. Okay, so let me start listing what I wrote. You see, I gave you a very good illustration. First of all, we have sound problem, but I mean, I won't even touch about it because I know Mr. C, and I don't know if Shagun was going to speak, but he's not a speaker. But I know the expert will come and explain the sound problem. Then we have something that we're doing, which was also a minor dislike. It was as if they were flipping the page. So it's like when you're reading a book and you flip the book, so and you flip a page in a book. So they had this transition, I think at the beginning of the movie, where it was like they were flipping the page or going to the next page. Then we have incest acting. So I know Faida liked incest acting. But I have something on the other side to say about the acting. So I did not know what was annoying me about her acting. I didn't know if it was the bad wig. I didn't know if it was as stiff her neck was. I didn't even know if it was the accent or the way she was pronouncing words. I just know that it was just bad. And Nse is a very, very good actress. She's phenomenal. I don't understand what is going on. And I feel people need to open up. Like when you make mistake in life, the only way you can redirect your step is when people say it. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. her acting is bad. So she's a phenomenal. Oh my god, she's very phenomenal. She's a very good actress. Don't get me wrong, but for this movie, uh she was stiff. Um, the way she was talking, I just feel like at some point I felt she was going to bite her tongue. At some point, I felt she was going to bite her tongue. I feel like she shouldn't change who she was. She shouldn't change the person we fell in love with. Okay, she should be proud of herself and continue in that good acting. I did not like her acting in this movie. Then I have Ego Unsu. Now the thing with Ego was I did not know if it was her acting that was bad because she was saying the right things, having the right face, okay, doing everything right. So maybe it's the script, but for some reason I felt nothing. I didn't feel anything for her. Okay, and this lead me to my second, not my second. Please, I've been talking for long. This lead me to my connecting dislike. I did not see any chemistry between RMD and Igor. Yes. So I posted in the community that maybe because I've been alone for so long that I cannot identify love, I cannot identify anything. Maybe that's what is stopping me from seeing it. But there was no chemistry. Abba. They were talking in the dining table. They were smiling. She was smiling. They were drinking wine. Everything was going on. She had the I'm falling in love face. He had the sweet smile. Still, I felt nothing. I felt nothing. Like I didn't care if they were dating. I didn't care when they broke up. I didn't care when they got back together. Okay, yeah. So I know Elizabeth will come and fight me. It's me. Come and fight too, because me, I did not see any chemistry. I didn't even see friendship chemistry. Talk more of lovers. So I don't know what was going on, and maybe it's because they didn't work for the relationship. Because I wrote in my book that maybe they didn't work for the relationship. Everything was too easy. So I could not connect to anybody. So I could not connect to their relationship. Okay. A lot of the time I felt like it was RMD beauty that was carrying me along. Okay. And I'm not saying it's acting because she was doing all the right things. Like you could see her face, you could see her saying the right words. But I don't know. I don't know. There was just something missing. It could be because there was no obstacle. It could be because everything came easy. She got job and bank job promotion. His daughter loved her immediately without any struggle. She fell in love faster than I expected after standing up to him. He's spending money on her. Everything was just cute, 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 which I like. But then this cute, 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 cute moment stopped me from connecting to their chemistry. Okay, so I don't know what was going on. Like, I don't know why I'm having the difficulty, and I've said that maybe it's because I've been lonely for so long, or maybe it's because there was no obstacle in the movie. Okay, so I did not see them fight. I didn't see them fight for this love, so maybe that's why I didn't connect and regard it that much. It's a personal problem, honestly. Then also, I also didn't feel anything when they kissed. Like, oh. I was like, did they kiss? Because yeah, like I when writing this, I had to ask myself if they kiss because there were a lot of scene I rewrote in my head. Then another thing this movie lacked is most character had no motivation. Uh-uh. Like I said, this movie is like 100 meter 100 meter Olympic race. Okay? Why you would have expected it to be 100 meter hurdles? Most of the character had no motivation. Everything was just happening. Everything was just happening. In fact, when I was writing the dislike, I had to ask someone if Tunji was cheating because we didn't even understand why he was an asshole. Okay, yes, he acted the asshole, but why was he an asshole? So you see, they had the characters were written like everything just had to work. That I didn't know why Tunji was cheating. I would have also questioned why RMD fell in love so quickly, but I mean, his beauty is confusing me. So um, I'm going to leave that. Okay, and I also did not get why she accepted Tunji's proposal. I also did not get why she accepted Tunji's proposal. Will you marry me? Yes, I'll marry you. I mean, I just turned off my brain. I was like, okay, we'll soon see RMD in a few minutes. So um let me continue watching. Okay, so a lot of them had no motivation, and it's more from the fact that this movie is a very, very straight line. Then I know Oinko like the pouring of the fine wine at the beginning. I loved it. I love her buying for him wine to apologize. I mean, that's what you buy for rich men. I mean, not for apology. When you want to give rich men gifts, some people always add wine. I mean, I also love that it was brewing wine, but I also did not get why this movie was called fine wine. Okay, the wine did not drive any of the plot. Mm-mm. The wine for apology did not drive the plot. So the wine it was making did not drive the plot. She was a banker. They could not connect the fine wine. Like, like I'm just saying that I feel like the name Fine Wine, I didn't get enough justification why this movie was called Fine Wine. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I love the whole wine pouring. I love the whole wine gisting. Like I said, the dining table scene where they were gisting wine, she was smiling and everything. That was one scene that I was supposed to feel something. I didn't feel anything. But back to the name of the fine wine. I did not get why this movie is called Fine Wine. Okay, fine wine is a metaphor for older people. Fair enough. But they were showing me wine and it was brewing wine. Okay, so I was expecting the wine to drive the plot. Okay, so maybe I'm mistaken here. And finally, so this movie is a light watch. Okay, so as I said, and I'm going to repeat it again, it's like a 100-meter race. Instead of it being a 100-meter hurdles, it has no obstacle. I did not understand why it was 2 hours. Okay, I mean, if you watch 100-meter race and you watch 100-meter hurdles, the hurdles is going to be longer than the 100-meter straight line race. This movie is a straight movie. Why was it long? I felt every second of this movie, like every in fact, every millisecond, I felt it in my bones. Okay, I kept pausing. 30 minutes. 1 hour. 1 hour, 15 minutes. I felt every second of this movie. It was too slow. For a straight movie with no obstacle, I mean, and at some point it became boring. So I have to agree with Otad. It became boring. I started watching this movie on Saturday and I finished it when? Okay, now I'm not sure when I started watching because I know I started watching. I watched this movie for almost 24 hours. Okay, I had to pause to do a lot of things. It was slow and it was boring. And yeah, that's the end of my dislike.
All right. Thanks, Cynthia. Just going to read a couple of comments that have come through. I like that you mentioned the fine wine thing. I guess yes, you said it could be. It's probably a metaphor for the old age, yeah. Which again, the movie is just saying RMD. Which I guess everybody liked RMD and hence like the movie. Well, the people who have said they liked it anyway. The other thing people keep on talking about, which this lack of conflict. Yeah, this was a big problem with. It's part of like why this movie feels boring is, or the pacing for anybody who felt it is that usually with these things there is a is it going to happen, or like like there's just like a pretense of will they when they, or is something going to
they will, but it's like that.
The reason why like it's super obvious that like there's no tension is when RMD starts like being really nice to her and doing all the gentleman things, her boyfriend as well is being such an asshole. You can't see it any other way. Like you can't see it go any other way. If there's some level of niceness, there's some level of thing that it's going to feel like the choice is going to be difficult. I think this is kind of something like what Twilight does. I'm not familiar with those movies. I'm just gonna guess, but like when everybody had Team Taylor and Team Edward, right? Like if you give the babe at least somebody to Jacob and Taylor is his actual name, isn't it? Right, Jacob and Edward, right? If you at least pretend like the other person is going to be something. I'm thinking Legally Blonde as well. Legally Blonde. Remember, like the guy is a little bit of a. It's not like he's even an ass. It's that you can't. I have to marry someone at my level, right? And you're not quite at my level. But then when she comes back, when she starts doing law, he's like, no, you are my level, And so the question is, is she going to go back to her old flame or this? Like, but this is just, it's very simple. One person is just an asshole.
Yeah, we're never given anything to show that these people are in a relationship, frankly. Like there's nothing about them that gives relationship, especially they say it was 8 months. Like if this was a long-term relationship, like we could be like, okay, he started getting lazy. It's 8 months, right? And just from the beginning all the way to the end, there was nothing he did that was affectionate. Love, nothing.
He wasn't really a character. He was just
it wasn't a character.
It was just the reason why it should be easy for her to not be with him, and it just became too easy. I think. All right. So some comments using Nollywood Film Club. The ring lady has said, "I like the fact that age was just a number. Literally, I felt some scenes were not necessary, but it was a good movie." Ebuka says, the joy in listening to people talk about movie they love. Honestly, even as a hater, it melted my cold heart. Listening to you guys fan about the movie. Even though a lot of it was about RMD, but especially Fida's very detailed notes. But yes, I agree very much there. Didi says, now I see why people have been looking forward to discussing fine wine, on Nollywood Film Club. Yes, she voted man for the job, but listening to this space, I am not angry again. All right, but yes, you can use the hashtag Nollywood Film Club if you want to join the conversation. You can also review it on Nolly Data. It's the first pinned tweet. Let's go next with TFR. By the way, I'm leaving Vanessa and Onika, defenders of fine wine. We're leaving you.
I have a full scap sheet. It's not fair.
We're leaving you for last because we feel like people are defenders of fine wine. So you guys will have maybe some rebuttals you want to do for everybody else. So let me get all the other people who want to attack. All right. TFR, please go ahead.
Okay, so my dislikes. So I think the first thing was the run time. I just feel like films like this, I just feel 2 hours, was it 2 hours, 10 minutes? I'm not sure it was justified. Like, especially as Cynthia said, there was barely like any conflict. There was no obstacle to their love. Nobody was doing Sheryl Cole's fight for this love. Like, it was a straight line, like Cynthia said. And I think another thing that everyone also mentioned that I didn't like, I think the characterization of Tunji was quite, you think of Isoken and I like how in Isoken, the Joseph Benjamin character, there were the nice sides of him, but one or two comments he made, you're like, this guy, Sha. And you saw that the other guy too was quite good. But this one, they just made him totally bad. Like, how did the guy even ask her out? Because this guy does not even look like someone that will have the decency. He looks like someone that will just say, oh yeah, come and be my girlfriend. Looks like that guy, that meme where somebody slaps the babe and she says, marry me. That's what this guy looks like. That's how it feels like. Like, I'm wondering how the relationship even started that, because he wasn't there for anything at all. I didn't really like Grace Carey's Effa Bassi, I think that's her name. I don't think that character was necessary. I believe that if that happened to be her sister, that would have been better, to have that nice sister dynamic instead, because I don't know, the sister was just there for me. So I think it would have been better for her friend, for it to be the sister, I don't think she was, necessary for that as well. What else? What else? What else? Um, I know a lot of people Tinamba was okay, but she was okay. I don't know if that's a dislike, but she was just okay for me. What else? Yeah, it was no conflict. It got a bit boring at some points. I really feel like for me, casting and performances saved this film. I think that was the strongest suit in this film because it was kind of at a point it was hard to get through because everything was just rainbow and sunshines and I was even expecting the daughter not to like her at first and be like, oh, she's the same age as me, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, it was, yeah. So those were the things I just like. I feel like if they were not going to make it have conflict, it should have been shorter then. Because yeah, I feel like it should have just been shorter. And there was like someone said, like there was nothing in the dialogue to show that, they like the genesis of friends to lovers, that kind of thing. Yeah, I get the whole I get the whole pepper soup and cooking thing, but yeah, that was just it for me. It was just too easy. Like it was just too easy. Yeah. So yeah, that's all.
All right. Thank you. Vanessa, do you want to?
Yes, I want to go because I actually feel like people are softballing this film.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Gender first, then
No,
this
no, no,
one
no,
was
no, no, no.
okay.
I love this. No, I really liked this
No,
film.
I'm
I want
telling Mr.
everybody to
C.
remember that. But this film is not without its flaws. And I feel like everybody's just softballing the flaws of this film.
Go ahead.
So
Tell
no, but
them.
no, but my dislikes are a little bit petty, but there's like serious the production side, that's people's business. Me, I don't watch film for sound and lighting and things. The professionals can talk about that. But there were flaws in this film. So my first dislike, very petty, but again, everybody keep in the back of your mind that like this film. Literally in the opening scene, Uncle Akin, Kepi Ekpeongbassi's character says, in my culture, it's often said that 20 friends cannot play together for 20 years. And it's true. But you and I have defiled that truth. Defiled! Who copy edited this script? Come outside, let's fight. Defiled. Defiled, really. This was almost as bad as the time when Nancy Sime said uncouth instead of uncouth. And the annoying part is this film is filled with moments like this. There was the scene with what's her name? Ego Wosu's character, Kaima, and her sister going out to dinner with a friend, and she says, where are you going looking all dapper? Haba. The word dapper literally means neat and well arranged when referring to a man in suits. And it can only be applied to a woman when she is dressed in menswear / suits. This is the fashion bit coming up. But it just really rubbed me the wrong way that moments like that, words like dapper, it was upsetting, but it's a petty dislike. My second dislike is, why wasn't wine a much bigger part of the film? And I know that fine wine was a metaphor for the age, fine wine gets better with age, and here is this gorgeous man who has been getting better with age. I get it, but it was such a missed opportunity. There were no romantic scenes in a vineyard, no sexy wine tastings, no fancy candlelit / moonlit dinners with a sommelier teaching Kaima and George about wine, just for extra fancy points because this man is a millionaire. Forbes list, for crying out loud. He paid me, because instead of that boat scene that we got, we could have gotten, even if they budget, we could have at least gotten a sexy wine tasting. Can we? Honestly, I don't know why Nollywood has associated boat rides and boats with wealth, but let's leave them to Charles of Clay. Nobody does a boat like Charles of Clay. Let's just leave the boat rides to Charles of Clay. Honestly, I would have rather he took her to this sexy ass moon. In fact, we could have joined the moonlit dinner with the wine tasting together. Just took us in a barn somewhere with barrels of wine and just a selection of wine and cheeses, and they're having the most beautiful in-depth conversations about it. Would have been gorgeous. My it was originally my third dislike, but I've decided to scrap it because Cynthia mentioned it. But I'm still going to say it because why not if not? Why does Nsekpe insist on this full British accent? It genuinely just makes her acting so stilted and awkward. I'm so tired of it, and I'm sorry for bringing it up, but it needs to. It don't. It's okay. My next petty dislike, as you can see, it's petty things. It's not serious things. We'll get to the serious things later. What is this? What was that Twitter versus Instagram conversation in the car between Temi and Sammy by Baj? Baj with his beautiful dimples. Why? Why? I'm genuinely tired of how Nollywood chooses to use or portray social media in their films. It just ends up giving cringe. Um, but that's easy to ignore. You know how I said I liked the character intros in my likes? Well, they missed out on one, and it was the most important character intro. Kaima, our main character. The first time we meet Kaima, it is in the scene with Tunji. And honestly, in my opinion, that scene was more about him and maybe their relationship dynamic than it was about her. There was no scene that fully helped us get to know who this character was, her personality, none of it. I'm supposed to be connecting with this babe and rooting for her, but I don't know her. It almost felt like we were seeing her through other people's eyes. Tunji's eyes, her mother's, Mr. George, everybody but us. We didn't get a chance to get to know her for ourselves. And so there was that disconnect between us and Kaima, at least between me and Kaima. Um, for the first time, Auntie Tinamba gave a very forgettable performance. It wasn't anything to remember. So it's a dislike for me because why put Auntie Tinamba in a film if you're not going to give Auntie Tinamba a role, a character that, was meaty? I don't know, but whatever. I'm sorry to say this, but as Film Club's resident fashion babe, the fashions were dislike. I'm so sorry, guys. Why doesn't Nollywood know how to dress wealthy men? And this is not even a petty, it's a genuine question. I want to understand why Nollywood cannot dress wealthy men. Every time, especially new Nollywood, every time we have a wealthy man, billionaire, millionaire status, and I'm not talking about wearing labels. These people don't have to be decked in Bottega. I just need for it to be apparent that their tastes are expensive. They have a certain, you can tell by the quality of the fabric that these people have money. It's in the color scheme, it's in the muted tones. It's there's but yet it's rich and vibrant at the same time. There's a certain balance that dressing like money has that is missing in how Nollywood chooses to dress wealthy men. But you see, RMD's fashions in this film were not the ones that were egregious. So it was Kaima styling. I'm sorry, Onyekon, you said you liked the way her makeup was great. There were the wigs, there wasn't the overcaked, fully wedding makeup thing. I appreciated that. But this is supposed to be a 25-year-old. Kaima was not dressed like a 25-year-old. And I don't know if this was part of her characterization and them trying to convince us that she was this, level-headed, super responsible young girl who wasn't the most, flighty, or, she chose modest fashions. I don't know. But there was a way to do that without losing her youth. Do you know the outfit that hurts my soul? Genuinely, it shouldn't, because I should not let Nollywood fashions have this much power over me. But it hurts me because the scene with her, Akin, Temi, and Sheye, where they go to Temi's event, that jumpsuit. In fact, the stylist should come outside and join the copy editor. Let's fight. Because what was that jumpsuit? That jumpsuit did nothing for her figure, and it made her look like she had a diaper butt. You see that scene where somebody spilled a drink on her jumpsuit? I wanted to kiss that guy. Never has an extra made me more happy. Even though it was written in the script, that spillage of a drink on her jumpsuit to facilitate the new clothes shopping montage was very much needed, because that jumpsuit was doing all the wrong things for her figure. Onto the shopping montage. I love a good montage, and I feel like montages could have helped speed this film along even more. What was that shopping montage? If you are going to include a shopping montage, give us the fashions. It just felt like a letdown. Don't give us a makeover montage with zero fashions. It was giving a fashion show without fashions. How dreadful. It wasn't giving. I'm sorry. On to the montage making this film longer and shorter. Just as a general indiction on this film, it was too long. It waffled on and on and on when it could have hit the main points and sold the romance harder. We could have had introduction to Kaima, introduction to Tunji, introduction to Sheye as our leads, share an introduction to Kaima's relationship dynamic with Tunji, an introduction, our not so meet cute, then the apology launch, then he gets her a job, and then because they're selling Kaima to us as this responsible girl, that was why she made the wrong assumption with Mr. George in their first meeting. I feel like she accepted that job too easily. There could have been just a tiny bit of, why did you get me that job? Something to endear her even more to Mr. George. I don't know. But then they could have done that. And I feel like something that was incredibly missing, this is me just saying all the points that they could have hit and gotten to the point quickly. You know how romance always has that moment where everything clicks, right? So even if it's like an instant attraction type trope, it would be he sees her and he's like, yeah, I'm in love. That's the moment. A friends to lovers will have the moment where one or maybe both of the people who are friends realize that they have feelings for each other and it clicks. An enemies to lovers romance would have a moment where these two people who are at each other's throats realize that, okay, there is more than dislike here. We're attracted to each other and it clicks. This movie missed that moment where it clicked. We have the moment where, okay, they have a friendship, esque, or it could have developed from Kaima just having like this very respectful relationship with this man, because even though that was the entirety of the film, but we'll get to that. Kaima has this respectful relationship with him and then it develops into a friendship. But there has to be a moment where it switches, at least for her. Because I guess it's established to us that Mr. George has a crush on her and he really likes her. That's fine and good. But there had to be a moment for Kaima where it clicks, where it's like, okay, this is no longer friendship or a respectful admiration for this man. There's actually romantic potential here. We didn't get that moment. And that's what's missing. It's not even conflict. Honestly, I get tired of the romance thing where we get a beautiful first and second act, and then by the third act, something goes wrong, and then they have to make up at the end. Why not just give us love from the beginning to end? I don't even need conflict, but there had to be that moment where something switched for her, at least, in her head, where it's like, okay, there's romantic potential here. And that moment just never came. And so it just that's what even made it feel even longer, not just the runtime. It just made it feel longer because we're waiting for the moment where it switches, that there's romantic potential here. On to the chemistry. I wish more time was spent off camera, nailing the chemistry between George and Kaima, getting them comfortable, RMD and Egonwosu, getting them comfortable to be in each other's space. Because it doesn't even have to be huge sexual tension. It's when you can tell that people are comfortable being in each other's space, being in close quarters with each other. It's the light, touch on the leg. It's those tiny little things that make you feel like, okay, these people are comfortable with each other and there's an attraction here. If more time was spent nailing that attraction between them off camera, it would have translated so much better on screen. This film had the potential to give me the feels, right? And it did, though, don't get me wrong, because remember, I like this film. But I genuinely did what I usually do when I read romances and there's a white main character. I just put myself in the book. So I put myself in this film. It was me, Vanessa, at lunch with RMD, drinking wine and eating a prom bruschetta. Everybody, I'm just letting people know that it was me and RMD in that restaurant eating prom bruschetta. But anyhow, though, I really like this film, but it's not without its flaws.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. No.
What you said about the film I don't like.
Yeah. I mean, those are interesting, and again, I love that everybody. I don't expect Elizabeth or Vanessa to complain about any production quality in any other Nollywood movie ever. Because you guys said forget about it in this one, yeah. It's somebody else's business.
You know what? I
Okay.
feel like that is the one to say forget about it for.
Don't worry.
Exactly.
Don't worry.
Exactly.
Don't worry.
Too much and it's
Allow,
bad. Like
allow, allow me when I reach you guys. I'll give you guys chance to rebut what I have to say.
nobody rebut your
No, it's
production
not.
stuff.
It's not about rebut, but like, tell me why you guys think it doesn't matter. Okay, we'll get there. Anyway, Anika, you go next in a bit, but I want to give the activists a chance to say something, but let me just quickly catch up on some of the tweets. Let me go now. Just one. This is from Damola Yanji. Says the movie did what it was supposed to do. It didn't try to do more than itself. Well, debatable, but sure. Point taken. All right, Dodo activists. Again, if you're here, either give us both what you liked and you didn't like, or what currently on the what you didn't like, but feel free to add what you liked on top.
Okay, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. Sorry, I dropped off earlier because my phone was misbehaving. So what I liked about this, I think the first thing I liked was Badge, his dimple. That was it. That was the first thing. Then the other thing I liked was, I mean, not like particularly, but I mean, I thought that it was somewhat competent, like the movie, compared to all the other Nollywood romance movies on offer on Netflix or wherever else. So that was basically it for me. Vanessa, I love you. I followed you, right? Because I was just taking off all the things I had listed out. The thing about DAPA, I mean, when I heard that, I rolled my eyes. It's not petty at all. It's really important because if they can get like little things like that right, then the big things are going to be messed up. Yeah, the chemistry. So it's not just the chemistry between Kaima and Mr. George. The chemistry between the mother and the daughters, the chemistry between the sisters, the chemistry between Kaima and her friend, the chemistry between Kaima and Seyi's daughter. All the relationships felt stilted. Like I couldn't connect to any of it at all. It just and like Vanessa said, they would have all benefited from actually having like a lot of time workshopping and spending time to getting to know each other and developing some kind of relationship. Maybe it would have reflected in their relationships on screen. I'm personally not a fan of angst in romance films, but Haba now, like there was nothing at all. Everyone has talked about the lack of conflict, and I'm going to repeat it again. Like there wasn't any conflict. We did not see Kaima liking her boyfriend. I mean, it was clear she didn't like him. So why was she in a relationship with him? Why did she accept his ring? Like we didn't see any pressure from anywhere on her. I mean, apart from maybe one or two conversations where it's kind of hinted at that the mother is putting pressure on her. It wasn't, it wasn't clear, right? Another thing I was going to mention was the fashion, right? Kaima's fashion was not working. So because we didn't have kind of like an insight into the character, I thought, okay, maybe they're trying to say something with her clothes. But then you look at her face and her face beads and the lashes she has on and the clothes she's wearing, it doesn't quite jive. Yeah, so that did not work for me as well. And then this one will get me haters, but I did not feel RMD in this film at all. RMD is a fine man, and maybe like Vanessa, maybe the fashion had something to do with it, but he was not giving billionaire or powerful man at all, right? He was missing that sprinkle of arrogance. So in the romance tropes where you have the powerful man, falling for this not so I won't say helpless woman, but something like that. You find that there is always some like it's the arrogance that makes this person attractive. Personally, it did not work for me that he was this sweet, nice. How did he make all his money by being that sweet and nice? He was sweet and nice to everybody. Well, aside from Kaima's boyfriend, and personally, I think he was just jealous or trying to protect her. It wasn't because that's the way his character is built. So that did not do it for me at all. And I think the last thing I have here is I think I've run through everything I have here, but it's a very forgettable movie. I can't remember. I only remember names of the characters because of this. I watched this movie maybe 2 days ago, and I practically even Namba, who I adore her, but she was very forgettable. Things I didn't like about the film.
Hey God, the activist, thank you. Bless your soul for sharing with us your perspective on this film. Just thank you. Somebody has finally spoken against RMD. I've been wondering, you people did not mind RMD. Like, this is literally RMD that walked off the set of KOB Volume 2. He's still using the KOB Volume 2 makeup. What was left over, like this thing. You can note the dyed goatee, blonde goatee, and the what do you call it? And his dark hair. I mean, like, I like that they worked it using Ince's post-production this thing that he was dyeing his hair, because like the painting they gave him was he had his normal white hair, but yes, that I guess they did not know he was going to be coming off of KOB Volume 2. Interesting that people are like, yeah, we'll take over the leftover. KOB Volume 2 leftover RMD, we'll have him. I don't know, RMD. All right, just going to read a couple of tweets that have come in since then. TFR says, I forgot to mention that I didn't really like the editing. There was some errors. Oh, somebody's talking about post-production. She legit wasn't on the phone anymore, and she was still talking. Yes, and I've put the tweet of that point where she was seemingly just talking past being off the phone. And also TFI says they've started to box into these roles. Jumoke Randall, her character in Small Chops, her character in Glamour Girls, and this also would add Kwam's money as well. It started to give typecasting. All right, yeah. So, Mel, did you want to say things you did not particularly like about?
Yes, sure thing. Give me a second to settle down.
You coming down from all of the temperatures rising from RMD. What's going on? Are you all right? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good now. Thank you.
All right, cool.
So what didn't I like about it? Definitely that it was too long. I have no idea why I had to give about 2 hours of my life to such a directionless story. I think it is. That's what it is for me. By the end of the journey, I think this is a little bit of what Vanessa had already touched on, and I think other speakers as well before Vanessa. By the end of the film, it doesn't feel like the end of the journey. It doesn't feel like, oh, I have grown or watched somebody grow. It doesn't. It just feels like the thing you were spending your time doing has ended. There's no implication for me. I definitely didn't like that. That just overall, it wasn't an experience that meant anything to me. And maybe I should preface this by saying that I don't watch that much romance. And I know that romance films have a very specific, just genre films in general have their genre specific languages. It's very likely that will be a lot, maybe a lot of context, a lot of it's quite likely. But it's just at the end of it, it just felt like, okay, you've done that. What's next? What's the next movie? What's the next one for me? So my next dislike is that well, I think just in general that RMD and my imagination were doing a lot of heavy lifting. I found the main character, the main babe, uncompelling. I did not like her, the character. I'm not talking about the actor, just the character. I did not like her. I did not want to be her. I could not even imagine myself. Oh, just imagine if it was, absolutely not. Did not want to be. Did not even want to think in that direction. I really didn't like her. Um, so it feels like just a lot of it was riding on RMD's chemistry, his charisma. I think that's even the word I was going for. A lot of it was riding on his charisma. And then his charisma with other actors, his chemistry with other actors, with Zainab, with Kepi. A lot of that chemistry was missing with her, with our love interest. I could not for the life of me understand what he liked about her. I think it's just a failure of characterization. There's nothing charming about her. Like someone else said, when you're doing romance, you're looking for that it's moment when everything starts to make sense, when the love happens, when you fall. Because that was missing for the entirety of the film, I'm really looking for what is the thing that he enjoys about her. If the conversations they had were very lackluster, nothing fun, nothing cool, nothing special about them. I don't know what else to say. It just that entire love fiasco was just not. I didn't think it worked, but I also didn't think that it got enough time. Um, it stewed properly. I didn't think that it stewed properly at any point. Not in the writers' room, not the way that it was edited. I don't know what else to say. Um, I thought that there's parts of these things that, but this is just me personally. There's things that kept his character. Um, okay, so the summary is: I thought that he was too old to be involved with some of the shenanigans that he seemed to just love um being involved with. Some of his jokes, just like, fam, please, you have kids that are in their 20s, maybe. You can grow up now. Um, and I think in the same vein as well, the main character was a little too naive for my liking. Like a lot of decisions did not make any sense to me. You're 25, you're not 17. What is going on? So maybe when the person who tweeted age is just a number, maybe this is another explanation. I don't know. Maybe this it carried through to the way that the characters behaved as well. But I wasn't. The ages were not aging for me. I didn't get it. I didn't think it came through. I didn't think it influenced the character in a lot of ways. What else didn't I like? I know that we've said that the technical aspects are just a no-go area, but I wanted to say that I saw some because I just ran through it this evening as we were talking because I didn't get a chance to watch it just before. Even though I watched it maybe a year ago or something. But I saw some really interesting, interestingly framed shots that I did not hate. So there's something there. I thought that there was I think indications of thoughts and care that went into setting up some shots. And I appreciated that. I really there's some I'm thinking of some I'm just like, yeah, I really appreciated some of them. So my last dislike would be that there's this thing Hollywood does, yeah, where they want to say something racist or something that blurs the line between what is racist and what isn't, and they give that line to like a non-white character, to a black character, to a person of color character to say, as if to say that, oh, we really we really, really wanted to keep this joke in, but see, a white person didn't say it, even though a white person wrote it. Anyway, the point of that is that a lot of the burden of what is the word for it? But a lot of the burden of giving a pass to this relationship fell on Zainab's character, on the daughter's character, as if to say, oh, it must not be that bad if this young woman who is related to this man thinks it's okay. Like, I'm thinking of very specific lines that the first time that I watched it, I'm just like, that's such a curious thing to randomly throw into this film. I thought it was just interesting because I've seen that technique being used just maybe justify is not the word. I'm losing all my words. Justify is not the word, but to just say, oh yeah, it's okay because this person said it. So it was like, oh, this relationship is. It's not. Don't think about it too much. It's not that iffy. Look. This 20-something-year-old woman is saying that it's perfectly fine. Was interesting to me. I disliked that. I think we could have had a perfectly valid relationship story, especially because she's 25. The age difference isn't the problem is not the age difference. I think the problem for me would have been was just the way that he used his power over her. Like he shows up at her workplace, he gets things rolling. That's what's iffy about it. It's not that there's a 30-year age gap. It's how he decides he wants her and he deploys his power even at her workplace. That's what's iffy about it. So I didn't like that. Rather than sit with that, you could ignore it, of course, but rather than sit with that, they chose the easy way out. Like, just give this character to say, "Oh, it's perfectly fine. I'm 20 something and I'm a woman, and if I think it's not a gross at all, you're good to go." I think that was just a huge turn up for me. What else? What else can I say? A lot of unnecessary characters. I think just her entire family I did not care for. Her rubbish boyfriend I did not care for. Again, I'm here for the romance. Do not, because none of these things give any character any dimension. So it was just a waste of runtime and a waste of my time as an audience member. Give me the love story, give me a falling in love, give me a growing into love, focus on just the two of them. I would be perfectly good. RMD smile will kill it every single time. I'd be perfectly happy with that. Don't, oh, her sister is in a relationship and she maybe feels pressured. Her mom is, please. I thought it just unnecessarily complicated what should have been a straightforward, what also was a straightforward story. Nah, I didn't think he added anything. I think that's just it in general. I would echo what Vanessa said. Zainab wasn't giving me rich kid vibes, fashion wise. She's giving me I got a job in my 20s with the big fours. I think that's the most I think that's the most that I got from her character's wardrobe. It wasn't hitting. Oh, I really disliked the dress. The dress that they got for Kaima, I really disliked that dress. It looks like something you could get anywhere. Um, so why go to this sort of exclusive place to get a dress that looks like you could have gotten it literally any? I think I've run out. Yeah, those were my dislikes.
Oh no, thank you, Mel. It's actually something that I have to say now. I almost stand is the ability for all the people who heaped all this praise on Fine Wine to also point out all the places they think it went wrong. Actually, really like that. I like loving movies with your chest and also still able to identify where the flaws are on your part. It's often a thing that some people aren't able to do. All right, Ainka, please go on.
Okay. First, I kind of want to reply to Vanessa. Vanessa, what I meant by that is that I just meant that, like, you know, sometimes in Nigerian movies, the girls they will say this girl is poor, and then they'll dress her in like the most fancy things, and she'll be carrying what's it called? Even though it might be fake bag, but the bag says Gucci, and you're like, okay, but it's not only a Nigerian thing. It happens all over, even in Korean dramas. Like clearly, this man is homeless. You tell me this man is homeless, and he has the latest Samsung Galaxy phone. How is that possible? That's just funny. But so that's why I was kind of saying, and our makeup wasn't like all too crazy for like somebody's going around to the market and then they have like a bridal makeup on. I'm like, what's going on here? That's what I mean. And even further going to the fashion, everything Vanessa said about the fashion is also true. And I have to also agree with Mel. That dress, I like the silhouette of the dress when she went to go buy the new dress, but the fabric and it was ugly. It was ugly. The silhouette was nice, but like that dress was ugly. Sorry. that was kind of some of the issues. Like I was like, this is the main something where she gets the thing, and they didn't even think that they could. This is where you go out all fancy, you know. Now, I just wanted to say, guys, everybody's criticism about and especially what Cynthia said about it being a straight line is true. It's completely true. Like I said that indeed that I already knew what this movie was ending. I lied. The journey. The journey. I didn't get the journey. I thought this was going to be the journey, but the journey was very long because they laid down like this. I'm so sorry, everybody. This is a 30-year difference. And she's in her 20s. It's not like a 30-year difference where she's like in her 50s and the guy is like in his 70s or 80s or something like that. It's not that 30-year difference. She's in her 20s. And this is a big deal. It's not 15, it's not 20, it's not something. This is a big deal. But I guess for the guys on Ford, it doesn't matter because this guy's on Ford something. And by the way, one more thing. We're supposed to accept that this guy that is on Ford's list of like the richest businessman started from the bottom and went up. Most of the billionaires on Ford's did not start from the bottom and went up. So I'm just like, okay, that's nice. Within 10 years, like, or within 20 years, like, what are you guys talking about? But it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy, guys. This is a romance genre. And I know everybody seems to be on the circuit, like romance is not that much of a complicated genre, but it is. There's romantic tragedy, romantic dramas, and romance is in every other genre too. Like an action movie, the guy has to inevitably end up getting the girl as a trophy. Right? Romance is in almost every single genre of movie or storytelling that we can ever see in the something. And this romance genre, this one is just a fluff. It's just a fluff. It made no sense. Like it's the type of movie. I mean, guys, if we look at the something, right? This man is a rich man that is on the Forbes list, is supposed to be a billionaire. He's over 30 years older than this young girl who is a copper, who is still looking for a job, right? And he is the one that likes her from the very beginning. The one main thing that I may not like about this movie is that many young women or many young teenage girls can watch this movie and not realize that this is more fantasy. That usually these things do not happen. This sort of position usually tends to be actually very dangerous because the guy will always have so much power over you, not necessarily because of the age, but because of the money and power. And like there's just too much gap right there. But I could leave my brain at home and I could leave my brain at home and watch this movie because I'm already aware about that. So that's the kind of only thing I can really, really say I didn't really, that is my super issue with this movie. That agenda is one thing. Production-wise, I would never leave production completely, but story definitely helps me in like leaving production completely. And I know this is Nollywood. production wise, yes, there's a lot of issues with this thing. The sound, sometimes they are talking and they're not doing that on the screen. And I could see sometimes they try to save this. For instance, when Zainab, the daughter, is trying to change the name of trying to change the name on the phone, they tried to like save the fact that they didn't have the sound and they were going to do ADR by just only showing her doing the phone, and then they have a whole conversation. But there are many moments where like the character is talking, literally talking that thing, and you look up at the screen and she's not talking on the phone. She has hung up her phone and she's still saying many things. That's just clear ADR right there. And it's so obvious. Like I can forgive production, like the type of editing that they used. Like, this is a movie. You don't do that type of editing. I don't know where you decided to do that type of editing, the sweep back something. Don't do that. But I can probably forgive that. I am actually very forgiving of many little tiny productions, something. But like, it was a little bit too much. But again, RMD and like the fluffiness of this movie, the fact that it's not like too much struggle, kind of helped. I don't know. Something about this movie was magical and it was getting me. I don't know what it is, but it did, and I was forgiving it, and I was just like, whatever. But yeah, I'm not that is something that they should definitely look at. It could have made this movie much better. Yes, this movie does not need to be 2 hours long. Like, I thought they were setting up when the guy says Temison may be even older than her, meaning my daughter may be even older than her. And we see the daughter, and the daughter has no issue with this. Okay? The daughter has no issue. All right? The thing about the movie, why everybody is saying that, oh, it has no conflict, is the fact that the movie itself sets up things that people would have considered conflict in a way that could be conflict. It never says, okay, we're not going to be a conflict driven, just fluff movie, right? But it sets these things up because it keeps on poking out, like the characters even themselves say it. And so when the daughter meets the girl, the daughter is okay with it. Then why are you telling me that he's younger than your daughter and you're bringing up the age and something? I'm not the fool. Usually when people say that, that's foreshadowing. Why are you not saying that? By the way, I like this movie. Everybody, just to say, like, why are you not saying that? That's not a fool. So everybody, you shot yourself in the foot because people were listening to what you were saying and they expect that there's going to be a conflict with that. No conflict with that. We have the ex-wife, right? The ex-wife doesn't even, like, we don't even get to see like talk down the girl. We don't even get to see the conflict. When she calls the girl, we don't even get to see her talk down the girl. We just see her say, I'm the mother of his kids. I'm his wife and the mother of his kids. Oh, okay. Okay. We don't even get to see that you give Inse. By the way, yes, they've been boxing Inse into this type of roles, and Inse, please don't take this type of roles anymore. And even if you take it, they don't give her in those type of roles. They don't give her, like, we should have seen like the what's it called, the conflict, like the butting heads of these two women. But we don't see it. We don't really see it. We see it backstage. It's backstage that we get to hear. She says, I called her, and then he has, by the way, very good monologue. Definitely needed. But like, okay, it's nice that you gave that monologue to the woman. And it's only in that monologue that we realize that, okay, she left you for a richer man that now washes you or something. But like, why are you telling us in this monologue? This monologue should have already this important point should have already been told in a very different place. And now you can bring it up and then we'll be like, yeah, go. And all we see,
you could just not pick up the phone during the romantic scene of them kind of admitting that they like each other, when she has that new clothes and then she's dressing and she's saying, I like you. He's saying, I like you. She said, I'm going to turn 25. He was talking about that. That moment does happen. And then that moment does happen. But the thing is that she keeps on calling. The ex-wife keeps on calling, and he chooses to answer that phone. All we've seen the ex-wife done is just call you. And like he can't control himself and just turn off the phone. Like to make the ex-wife a bigger deal, make her come. Literally make her fly all the way back and come and actually have her be a conflict. They have things that are supposed to be conflicts. They set up conflicts and they didn't shoot it. And everybody sees it. And everybody is now going to, and that's why people are going to say, oh, this movie was straight. I like this movie. I don't want to say people, I like this movie. But I'm just saying, like Chekhov says, you cannot put a gun. Well, you can do whatever you want. It's fiction. You can do whatever you want. You are open to it. But you can put a gun, but like Chekhov says, the gun must go off at some point because you're introducing the gun. You're introducing the gun, and they've introduced so many guns in this something, and it didn't show off. Now, if you want to write a fluffy romance where there is nothing going on, where there is just beautifulness, first of all, that should be an hour and 30 minutes. You just set up everybody being kind to them. You don't have little words here and there being said. You don't have the secretary think that she's a floozy girl. All right. You don't necessarily have there were many people that was randomly like other ancillary extra characters that randomly had like issues with her. Just issues with her and maybe her dating this guy. They just randomly, those type of things do happen in romance, but those things become the conflict. They lead to something conflict. They are shot. The gun is shot. The gun is shot. It's very typical for that type of romance that they're trying to do, and they didn't do that, and that's an issue with the writing of the romance, right? And everybody sees it, and that's why everybody like has an issue with it. Yes, I will definitely say that RMD carried. Maybe also our memory of RMD and our like RMD is already set up in our minds. If you've been watching Hollywood for so many years, you already know that this is the sort of the lover boy something. RMD, Ramsey Noah, Desmond Elliott. These are the people that play those lover romance roles that you know the stories in your head, and you see them in that type of character again. I had a old Nollywood A's over my head, like Behind Open Doors. You start thinking about all those movies behind closed doors. You start thinking about all those movies where the actual romance actually had actual conflict. And you watch him and he smiles and everything, and you just like, you know what, let's go with it. Let's just go with it. One more issue, like I don't mind not kissing because again, I said that this movie has a more female gaze sort of walking through it, the sort of romance about it. It's supposed to be about the girl. Because the guy is acting like a gentleman. He doesn't ask for sex. He doesn't do any of those things. And it's a more female-centered way of like looking at romance, where it's like you have to like me for me, and we have deeper conversations. They don't have deeper conversations. Those things, those type of things. And sometimes the kiss in those type of like ways of seeing romance, the kissing does not happen until maybe the last moment. It takes a long time before the kiss. And all they do is kiss, and the kiss is usually like some sort of chase thing. But in a romance, you also have to know how to angle your cameras for the kiss. This is where production matters in romance. Like even if you do all the other crappy thing that it was going production-wise, You actually have to know how to angle your camera for the kiss because you've been building up to this. You've been building up to this. I don't know why she answered yes to this man when they had the engagement. That was something that could be a conflict. Even though if she answered yes because there were so many people around it, the next thing should be about her being like, look, I said yes to you because I just don't want to embarrass you. You know, if they were going to go that way, you're going to be like, I just don't want to embarrass you. But I'm having this issue. I just kissed a man. I just had a lovely romance something, which by the way, Vanessa was right that they should have done like the fine wine thing. Like, I just did that, but why that should have been a conflict right there. That should have been a more engaged conflict. There were so many times that they set up things for conflict and they didn't do it. And I just feel like maybe the writer maybe did not know. Wait, the writer.
Plural.
Oh, wait, huh?
Plural.
What did you say? Oh, the
Plural.
writers. Okay, the writers put down the list of the romance cliques down, but romance is a very, very big incapacitating thing. What are you trying to write? What type of romance are you trying to write? And where does it like engage with other type of like genres? Like, are you trying to write a romantic comedy? Are you trying to make something that was originally written as a romantic thriller? I use Pretty Woman again as an example. It was supposed to be a romantic thriller. It wasn't supposed to be this romantic, lovely Cinderella thing. But because Disney was the one that acquired it and they wanted more people to watch it, they changed it into like this romance comedy love thingy. Is it supposed to be a romantic comedy? Is it supposed to be a romantic thriller? Is it supposed to be like a romance tragedy? What is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be fluff? And if it's supposed to be fluff, I should not set up so many gun conflicts and I didn't shoot it. Because then you shoot yourself in the foot. But the thing that helped this movie again is that everybody gave a reasonably well performance. And two, RMD and maybe nostalgia of the people that would definitely more watched it. And also the sort of female gazy sort of way of working it. Because again, yeah, female gazy things of watching it upped it. And that's just like the issue, the main issue with it. And there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I've forgotten about it. But yeah, that's kind of it. But I still like this movie. I love this movie because it does try to say the girl leaves the boyfriend that is acting badly. Yes, the boyfriend that is acting badly is just totally a one-dimensional note. But what she says at the end of like, okay, even though if I don't have another guy, it's okay for me to be alone because I know my worth. And that's something that I liked in a romance movie to put that because a romance is eventually like women have to be with somebody.
Yeah. You're saying like Snow.
Yeah. And oh yes, the girl has no character. That's what I want to remember. What the girl has no character because she's supposed to be a girl that we, the audience, will just put ourselves in. As Vanessa said, I was the one in it. The same thing with Twilight. That girl has no something. It's people that are reading it put themselves in it, and this movie is and like Twilight, it does have. There is really only one option. It's always Jacob because the writer just decided to like. It was always Edward decided to like destroy Jacob in the next book because everybody liked the way Jacob was treating the actual girl nicely and everybody wanted Jacob. And then in the next something, she decided to wreck on his character and say, no, it was always Edward. But like, that's it. She's not supposed to, I can forgive that she has no personal character because that's what most movies kind of have. Like the main characters sometimes don't have something personable about them. They're not supposed to be a unique person. They're just supposed to be insert yourself into this character. And I think in that way, they maybe wrote it well. Because I was also seeing myself too in her. I was just like, oh my
Okay,
gosh.
all right, okay, yes, all right, okay. You have, yes, we've gone past but we're circling around back to things we like. All right, Mrs. C, what are the things you did not like about fine wine?
Can't remember anymore now. Um, what did I not like about fine wine? Okay. So I thought I thought fine wine was vibes. And while that was fun, it did feel like it was barely written, or at least only got one draft, two max. Um, I'll start with, I think a lot of tropes were thrown in there. I think the romance tropes were thrown in, but without fully getting or developing or understanding why we're having these tropes there, or what it is about these characters that make these tropes relevant or required. Enemies to lovers, for instance, right? That opening scene with the aggression, right? It was unnecessary, because I think we were talking about it. We see her use a fake name, right? Use a different name that's not her boyfriend's name to sit there. And then he comes in and she, gives him all of that aggression, right? Which is out of character for the small characterization that was written for her, and frankly, kind of stupid. So it was just, kind of a stupid thing to do for a person, right? Considering you used a random person's name for your reservation, it's kind of obvious that it's not. Yeah. Also, I didn't feel the age difference much. I don't know if it was maybe in her costuming. I thought she was in her 30s, right? I wasn't feeling a 30-year age difference. And if the age difference is kind of what this film is centered around, there were one or two throwaway statements, but it didn't seem to play an actual role in whether or not their relationship took off. The boyfriend was a caricature. He was not a person. He was not a person at all. Like, typically when they don't even have to be good people, right? But like, typically when you see the person in the relationship that somebody's supposed to be leaving, I just remembered Parent Trap. Right, Parent Trap, their soon-to-be stepmother that they were trying to end the relationship, right? She was this hard-ass, snooty, she wanted to send them to boarding school. But like, there was some semblance of a relationship, right, between her and the dad.
She was kind of nice to, she was nice to.
Yeah, exactly. She was nice to the dad, right? She was just not nice to the girls. Like, they used to hug, they'd kiss. Like, we saw something there. There was a relationship there, right? And typically you see that, I was thinking Maid of Honor, where she leaves her man for her best friend, right? Like, her man is perfect, actually perfect. He's a Scottish lad. He's gorgeous. He's tall. He's beautiful. He's great. And she leaves him for this other guy because, well, yeah, that's her best friend. And now she figures out she's in love with him, and that works. But this caricature of a person is not a person. There's no risk in that relationship. There's no risk of there's no dilemma, no choice. There is really no choice to be made. It's a no-brainer from the beginning. Nothing is difficult. It's just nothing, absolutely nothing. Then there was no chemistry between RMD and this babe. None. Not even a smidge. There was no chemistry. It was like, I didn't even get friend vibes. I thought she was chilling with her boss. Right? Like, she was very respectful of him and all of that stuff. It was like spending time with your boss, right? It's like how I talk to my boss. It's just like, it wasn't giving, right?
Hey, this is how you talk to your boss.
It was not like, there was nothing there, right? Even the conversation was bland, right? The conversation, every time they actually spoke, it was bland. But there was no chemistry there. And we get to the end and, this big scene where they're getting together, right? And then they hug, and it's just the way he rubs his hand on her hair. It's so paternal. It was like a father-daughter dance at a wedding, right? It's like your father's about to kiss your forehead. It was just, there was no chemistry, absolutely no chemistry between both of them. And then I didn't see them falling in love. right? It was just people doing things, right? Like, give me a montage, right? I know it was Vanessa that said it was shopping montage. It wasn't a shopping montage. There was montage music, but it wasn't a montage. They put the music, they forgot the montage, right? And like, going on a boat cruise, cool. But yes, if she's dating this older man, what is in the experience of dating an older man? This film could have worked the same if her boyfriend was young, if the new man was young. Because the only difference was shitty boyfriend, nice gentleman. Right? There was nothing actually specific to the experience of being with an older man. There was nothing there that showed a 30-year age difference. Right? It was just dating a guy. It was just getting to know a new guy who is not as shitty as her boyfriend. Which, yeah, so the age difference did absolutely nothing.
Is that the point? Age is just a number? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm fine with age being just a number, but if you're not... if the point of your movie is age is just a number, we need to see the age, we need to see them surmount the age, and we need to see them get to that point, right? Yeah. If that's not the point of your movie, right, I'm perfectly fine with the age playing no role at all.
Just nobody mention it.
Nobody mention it, right?
Don't call it fine wine either.
Don't call it fine wine either. Let's just take it like that. So there is that. Yeah, Zainab and RMD had much more chemistry than, like, you know, RMD and the other babe. Not even friend chemistry, like I was saying. What else was it? I don't know but yeah, I really wasn't sold on the romance, and it's a love story. I'm not feeling the romance, and it was 2 hours, and it was really long.
2010.
2010. It was very long. It was very, very long. I really felt every minute of those 2 hours. I distracted myself from the last act of it. Had to come back and finish it. It was just no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No. Oh, yeah. Obviously, the remote control. We had to hold the remote control while we watched it, because at some points it was too low, and then it's blaring really loudly, and I have to turn it down.
Sound levels.
And then you can't hear it, and then yeah. All right. Over to you, Mr. C.
All right. We have Tammy, who's on here, who probably wants to say something. We're talking about the bad. We've done the good section. We're on the bad side, but Tammy, if you want to speak, please say a totality of just generally what you felt about Fine Wine, if briefly, given we're close to the end. Tammy, you there? Okay, if Tammy's not...
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. First time I've ever been on one of these things. I do apologise. Yeah, this is Tammy, and I've got to say I arrived just about 5 minutes ago, so I'm not sure. You've probably said what I'm about to say, but let me just say it anyway. First of all, Fine Wines. I thought the script was decent. It could have been better, but I really like that scene where the lady came, I think that was her name, where she was telling him off because of the mix-up with the reservations. The script was okay. The acting was okay as well. However, I did have a problem with the camera angles. For instance, you know that part in the movie where they went to the restaurant and there was the mix-up, and then she realised that RMD's character was actually their biggest customer. You know, the camera could have zoomed in on her face to show her shock, you know, but, you know, the camera was a bit too far away, you know? So I didn't really get that feeling from her. I mean, I'm sure she's a good actress and everything, but sometimes decent directing can make a huge difference. Then, as you've probably heard from my accent, I no longer live in Nigeria, so I don't really know what's going on there. But is there some sort of man's hair colour trend going on there? Because RMD's hair colour, what was it? Was it black? Was it red? Orange? What was that? And speaking of hair, Tunji, I think that was his name. That guy's hair had enough oil to fuel a car for a whole year. I'm not even joking. If he'd gone anywhere near fire, would have been another Michael Jackson incident. But apart from that, chemistry, I agree with what the last speaker said about chemistry lacking between the two main actors. I mean, I get the feeling, I know I'm showing my age here, but I get the feeling this movie was inspired by Bianca and Ujuku when they were dating all those years ago. You know, they had a 30-year age gap. But yes, I do agree. It was more like a mentor sort of thing, you know, as if he was mentoring her. And of course, there were a few moments where they were a tad romantic, just a tad, but it could have been better. I like the ending, you know, we don't know. I know some people might disagree with me here, but I think some people no, I think the ending was realistic, you know. We don't know if it was a happy ending, we don't know if it was a sad ending. Um, Most Nollywood movies are a bit too cliche, you know, they give them the happy ending, they get married in a church, live happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, we get the feeling that, they're just going to give it a go. Maybe it didn't work out, but does it matter? And finally, RMD, and I'm going to, some of you are going to kill me for saying this, but RMD, I think he should forget the romantic rose for now. Well, forever, actually. Over here in the UK, we have this actor, Hugh Grant, who you've probably heard of. Years ago, he was the romantic heartthrob, but those days are gone now, and he knows it, which is why he's moved on to more serious roles, which really suits him. RMD, sorry, 20 years ago you were the pretty boy in Hollywood. Now you're the grandpa. Give it a rest. I think that covers it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tammy. No, that's that. Oh, well said. You said a lot of things that actually were on my mind as well. I think a lot of people will fight you on the RMD part. In the earlier section when we're talking about the goods, people love RMD, so and they've given him all of his flowers. So I guess take everything with a pinch of salt. All right, so from my perspective, all right, the things that I do not like, let me go to my notes. All right, so there are a lot of production problems. There were times where I could see the mic transmitter. I think I posted that with a tongue-in-cheek tweet. I think it's a bang. I think I called it a parachute in that tweet because, like, of just how I think usually I would let these things fly. I do. I usually let mic booms fly, but that one was. It's quite huge, sticking out the back of Ego's. I think it was a jacket. Like Tammy said, sometimes the cinematography is awkward. Bad. I don't think the cinematographer and the director really knew the shots to use at times. I think people have touched on the kiss. Like, we wait all this time for a kiss, and it's from behind both of them. Like, we don't see their lips touch. That seems like a kind of a bad mistake. Editing is the worst. I don't actually wish to expand on this. Just I wish not to talk about the editing. The editing is the worst editing I've seen in a Nollywood film that we've done in Film Club all year. We've done Glamour Girl, so I'll remind you of that. Sound level is a throwback. I don't know whether I should have put this in my good or my bad, because like I really felt like back in the days where you had to hold your remote control when you're watching Nigerian movies, where you increase the volume or you turn it down. The plot, there's a lot of things I didn't particularly like about the plot, but I know I'm not the target audience for this regarding romantic films. But I like some. But even I think for this, like Mrs. C has said, age doesn't really play a character into anything. Nobody feels like an actual character. Some people have pointed out that some people didn't feel like a character. I don't think there's a character in any of this, which is interesting choice. I think sometimes that can work, but like I think you have to replace that with just things of interest and things that feel like unusual. Some plot points are contrived. There's a time when I know like her best friend said, like, you know, she sort of pushed her and she knew she was going to she started recording her, but like I felt the way that was done wasn't the smoothest. a lot of it is feel like repetitive and like waffle and just going for long and long. The dialogue in this is, again, I'm gonna go back to like things being uninteresting, the way especially in the way they're done. Like I don't mind if we're gonna do like cliche and hit notes, but like the thing about the movies, who there are loads of movies that are cliche and hit specific notes, but how are you going to make this one stand out? And this is what I'm baffled by, the love that this film has, because I don't, what dialogue, what line is it that you guys remember from this film? Because I'm thinking there was one line that I thought, if this was written or delivered, I don't know whether it was written better and then RMD just didn't deliver the lines better. There was this line about how Inse, his ex-wife, could be so ugly inside but give him beautiful kids. See, even in the way I've summarized that, I feel like that is better. It's almost like two lines. Oh, ugly inside, yet give me beautiful kids, or beautiful kids, yet you're so ugly inside. But like the way he delivers it, it's like he takes so long to land at essentially what the punchline. It's not now, it's not a memorable quote anymore. It was just him talking about, hey, you know, I don't know how you gave me such beautiful kids. I have such beautiful kids. The kids you gave me, beautiful. And then, yes, inside, when I look at you, inside of you, it's so ugly. It's like, it's not a snappy quote anymore. Like, there's so many of these, when we do a lot of these type of movies, like, it's all those snappy quotes that I would expect to see that would make things memorable or stand out. I just didn't get much from this. I think if this movie, I'm glad somebody else touched on it. Thanks, Mel. But like, I feel like if the roles were, somebody asked for a role reversal, I feel if the roles were reversed, I don't think this would fly. Imagine it was a movie about a guy who had, I don't know, a babe, and I don't know, like there's this other babe, and she works, you know, and she cooks and she cleans and she does everything that it's in this, like, what one might call a male typical fantasy or something like that. And then there's the other woman who is, I don't know, displaying all the, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be like, maybe people might not have as big, as much a problem with it, but I don't think it would, people would go, yeah, great movie. I think people would be like, that just feels uninspiring. But yeah, I'm just, again, I know like this movie isn't really made for me. I'm just, aside from RMD that people clearly really love, I'm just astounded to why this even sticks in people's memory, especially given, again, this is like that RMD version. It feels like leftovers from King of Boys Volume 2. It really just doesn't feel like he was made for this. He walked onto the set made for this movie. It felt really like, again, it's not even meant as sort of like a real jab. It just feels like the leftover costuming, the parts that have not, the parts of his head that have not undyed, and such and such. But yeah, those were my dislikes about this movie. Remember, you can always rate, review this movie on Nolly Data. Fine wine. I'm just going to give like a minute or so, or if anybody has any rebuttal to any of the like negatives that anybody has said, please speak now or forever hold your peace, and we can do the summary.
I don't like older men like that, but RMD is still hot.
All right, yeah. I knew that one. Everybody, we know we're in the minority with that one.
Yeah, look at.
I just wonder, like, what's in for like guys in this movie? Like, if you're not into IMD, what are you supposed to get from this, really?
Look, guys, I'm so sorry. Most movies are made for you guys, okay? So, with the whole like movie focusing on women something, so give us our own. I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't even find I don't find Brad Pitt on. I don't find Clooney like amazing. I don't get it. Like young Leo, I can get it. Leo now, I don't get it. And for some reason, RMD in this movie was doing it for me. So,
All right.
but
Well
I
done.
still won't be with a man who is over 30 years older than me.
All right.
Like,
Okay. All right. Let's do the summaries. Otas, what did you think in general of Fine Wine?
I would watch it again if I was having trouble sleeping. RMD is very hot. I'm sorry for Mrs. C and Tammy's bad taste. That's like just unfortunate. And yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Vanessa.
I'm here. Yeah, same as Mel. I would watch this movie again. In fact, I've watched it again after I watched it with my mom. I've watched it again, and then I watched it for film club this week. It honestly, it has great rewatchability, especially if you find RMD as attractive as all of us do, except for Tabby and Mrs. C. RMD is still a heartthrob. I don't care. We don't have that many options for heartthrobs in Nollywood. I'm sorry. So we're gonna take the one that we get. The fine man with great charisma is tall. Just watch it and like RMD. This man is smiling at you. Just picture yourself. That's my advice. Picture yourself. It's you RMD is smiling at. That's all you really need, honestly. But yeah, it has great rewatchability. It's not without its flaws. So I'm not gonna say watch it blind and not acknowledge the flaws that this film has. It's very flawed, but it's a watchable film, and it's entertaining in many ways. And it's cute sometimes. So yeah. Watch it for RMD.
All right. Thanks, Vanessa. Mel.
My summary, I think, just really, really, really is in opposition to what Vanessa just said. I do not at all think that this film is rewatchable. I couldn't even squeeze out the time to watch it again for Film Club today. I feel like when I think about this film, what I think about is just immemorable. Like, I don't remember anything about it. I didn't leave with anything. It's a thing that existed. It's a movie. My favorite part is that it was a movie. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't know. Maybe Vanessa shows that people can find it rewatchable. But my summary is that I thought it was immemorable. I thought the characters were uncompelling. I thought the writing was uncompelling. I thought the romance was uncompelling. I don't know, it's a thing that existed and it's a thing I gave my time to once upon a time, but that's the most that I can say about it.
All right, thanks, Mel. Ayinka, please, what your summary for this fine wine?
my summary is like, look, if you have nostalgic glasses and nostalgic gaze and you want to watch a fluffy romance where nothing really happens, and you want to put yourself in the what's it called? You want to imagine yourself in the role of like rich boyfriend who treats you like a gentleman, comes to save you. Fantasy. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. This is made for you, okay? This is made for you. Okay. Just watch it.
All right. Ayinka doing her best. Cynthia impression there towards the end. All right, Cynthia, please tell us your summary for Fine Wine.
Yeah, so like I said before, this movie is a straight line or 100-meter race without any ordeal or obstacle. It's very slow. I felt every second of this movie. It's quite boring. There was no chemistry between RMD and Ego Wansu. And I'm grateful and thankful that RMD was the one that they casted, okay? And it's really forgettable. Like, I'll agree with Mel, it's very forgettable. And if I want to gush over RMD's beauty, I would rather stalk him on IG than we watch this movie.
All right. All right. Thanks, Cynthia. Tammy, did you have like a quick summary of what you thought of Fine Wine?
I certainly do. Fine Wine is a decent movie. It's not a great movie. If you watch it, don't expect fine wine. Expect premium palm wine. Thank you.
Oh man, this is what a day to Fine Wine. It's because you haven't had Fine Wine. That's why you're talking. All right, Kamzi. What is your summary for Fine Wine?
I don't know. I'll just say, if you need something to pass the time, I don't know, you can be making out. You won't miss anything. Actually, you won't miss anything. Just a boring movie with good cast. Just there. I would actually recommend someone to watch it. I know someone who is hopelessly romantic, someone who loves the R&B. I would actually recommend it to them. That's just it.
All right, thanks, Kamzi. TFR.
Okay, so it was a bit long and drawn out, but I think it is okay. I don't think it is a bad film. I just wish there was more conflict and it was a bit shorter. I think one of my major problem, because I remember I slept, I woke up and so yeah, it's just the runtime, and I felt it was.
All right. I think I got most of what you said, TFR. Cut off a bit, but Elizabeth, do you want to? How proud of you of your agenda? And
Okay, I'm very proud of myself. Please, can you imagine? We spent all this time on this fine wine. Okay, so many things I wish that fine wine did right. I wish the production was good. I wish the story was tighter. I wish the conflict was better. I wish for so many things, but you know what? This movie is just a light story. It does not seek to do a lot, and it's not exactly bad because of that. It's actually cute. It has a lot of cute moments. So I will keep on asking people to watch it. In fact, forcing people to watch it. Like I forced everyone to watch it and I stuffed ballots. So yay me.
thanks, thanks, Elizabeth. God bless you. God will pay you back accordingly. Mrs. C, almost said your real name just then. Mrs. C.
Kamsi is not wrong. I think this is a great film to Netflix and chill. It is very long. I think at some point you will want to chill. I think there was something charming about it, with how much love it's getting despite its flaws. That is really something, and I think this is something that Nollywood filmmakers should know, is that what film audience are very willing to forgive you a lot of things, because people have forgiven a lot of things for this film. So yeah, I think that was it. I think it was kind of fine. I'm pretty sure there was something else I was going to say, but I don't make notes, so I forget. Oh, sorry. I was just going to defend myself on RMD. Please stop dragging me for not having the RMD-itis. He looks like my father.
You don't want him to
Your
die.
father's single?
No, and my mother can fight.
You want people to dox you. I'm praying for you. You are praying for it. Okay. Yeah. I think. I know I'm not the target audience for a film like this, but I think even at where it's playing at, it does so much wrong. A lot of it is in the editing. The editing is just really bad in this. I can't. Both with the sound mixing and just the actual editing, the transitions. I just don't think it's particularly great. there are things in the writing that I think are, certainly has touched a lot of people. I think it's more RMD than anything, to be honest. But I think just the dialogue is uninspiring, and if there was just a couple of lines that we could repeat to each other tomorrow or something, but it just feels uninspired. No, there's no room for me. I felt like if there was, if you weren't feeling RMD, or if you weren't entranced by RMD, there's just nothing in this for you. And I am glad everybody had go on. All of our speakers here spoke about this in the light that they did. I will say though, if I catch any of you people talking about production in any film again, sound in any film again, characters, characters in any film again.
They were leaving it for you.
Look, I'm so sorry. I also love what's the Indian Nollywood movie that you love that was also terrible in production.
Consistency, I stand.
I also love that movie. You also love that movie, and I was behind you. Now we should understand when other people like a movie that we also might. Right. I also love this movie, so you understand it, okay? You should also not be talking about character and production, because I remember you saying you like that movie, okay?
Yes. I think
you didn't talk about those things.
There's nothing you can't out bad me on Namaste Wahala. You can't tell me any bad on Namaste Wahala.
I like Namaste Wahala. Remember, I'm on your side. Remember,
I know. I'm talking to everybody here else. If you want to use Namaste Wahala, I dare you to add bad me on that one. Like, come and bring your list of bad compared to mine. I know what it is, and I love it like that. In fact, I love it because it's bad. If it was better, I would love it less. I hope you guys know that. That's how I feel about Namaste Wahala. Yes. Anyway, but thank you everybody who joined Nollywood Film Club. We discussed Nollywood movies every Sunday, 6 p.m. That beginning where everybody was gushing about fine wine, I'm surprised we came to this kind of an ending. But it's actually
there's no difference.
It's actually kind of the way people gushed over this film at the beginning. I'm actually impressed with how you guys also pointed out flaws. But thanks so much. Next Sunday, I will not be letting Elizabeth pick any films on the poll. In fact, if she picks any film, is disqualified. But we will discuss another film next Sunday, 6 p.m. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.